Hello, everyone, listeners of Below Grade Level. This is Chris Z, one of your hosts. I just want to have a quick disclaimer before this episode because when we recorded it, I thought I was using my really, really good microphone for the program Audacity, which I record my audio in and then send to Jonathan over Google Drive. But it turns out I was using my shitty webcam mic the entire time, and experts have looked at the audio file and tried to clean it up, but it's still going to sound like shit. And so I just wanted this disclaimer real quick before you go into this episode thinking, like, why does he sound so terrible? Well, that's why, and I just want to apologize ahead of time. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Listener beware, you're in for a scare.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as children and read them as adults and ruin them. I am one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton, and with me as always. Ooh, I fucked it up. I was so cocky. And I fucked it up. With me as always is Bekah Eaton.
Hi.
And Chris Zaleski.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Very well.
I prefer
That's a
not
lie,
to
but,
answer.
That's fine. No, yeah, it's
Okay.
true. We're,
I'm okay.
we're,
What can I say that wouldn't be a lie or depressing?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, this is becoming like an escape for us from like the horrors of the world currently.
Yeah.
And
I'm really glad we're doing this.
I am
today.
also glad we're doing this. And I didn't want to like turn this into a soapbox any sort of thing, but we're going to be publishing this fairly soon-ish. So let's just say right at the top, we stand with Black Lives Matter and everyone everywhere, and donate. Just donate money is what you should do.
Yeah,
That's
because we're not idiots.
Yeah, because we're human beings with fucking hearts and empathy, and
Even the smallest shred.
it's ridiculous. So do yourselves and us and everybody a favor and donate to ACLU, donate to bail funds, donate to anything. Literally Google Black Lives Matter, donate, and donate to whatever you can find. And that's what we should all be doing. With us today, though, we have a special guest. He's a returning special guest. He's very special in our hearts. But it's our good friend, John Walker.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, John.
Hi. I just want to say I felt weird. Normally, I'm like wait until you're introduced, but it was weird sitting quiet through that part. So I just want to say Black Lives Matter. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, you should be following lots of black people. You should be listening to black people. You should be amplifying their voices. You should be, if you're white and middle-aged like me, you should be shutting up, and you should be trying, and you should be working. Don't wait until someone instructs you, but just look for ways to be useful without demanding time from somebody to explain to you how you can be useful. And it's a struggle. And that is the task that is before us right now, honestly. It's one thing to say it, and it's one thing to hashtag, but it's another thing to sort of, honestly try to restructure the way you think about your life. And not always fun, not always easy, but I think we're all doing it right now. If, as you said, we have any heart at all.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're all doing it right now. But that's, very well said. Perfect. So today we are getting back into an old friend of ours named R.L. Stine. And we have already read many R.L. Stine books. We've read Goosebumps. We read a bunch of Goosebumps. And we read one of his Fear Street books. We read one of his newest Fear Street books.
Classic, rarely lucid Stine.
When was the last time we actually read a Goosebumps book? I know you've been reposting older episodes, but when in our timeline?
In the timeline of released episodes?
In the worst timeline?
No, the timeline of our
lives.
lives.
Of us actually doing this? Like a couple of years.
Wow.
Like a long time. A long
Like
fucking time.
before Below Grade Level existed?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's been a really long time. And we've branched out into a bunch of different things. We've branched out into teenage romance and sci-fi body horror.
Much to our benefit.
Yeah, and I want to keep branching out, but I also did want to kind of like dip a toe back into the pool of scary stuff for teenagers.
They say you can never go home again, and we'll probably prove it true.
I don't know. I'm really excited because what we're doing. So we read a Fear Street book before, and we jumped way into whenever the fuck that was released. I want to say
It was the most recently released one when like
It's
it had
probably
just
like
came
5
out.
years ago.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
it was
4 or 5.
I honestly think it was like 2015, and it was at the time it was interesting because it was his first Fear Street book he had written in like a decade or something like that. Like R.L. Stine himself had jumped back into the world of Fear Street, but what we're doing is taking a goddamn time machine and going back to, I think this is 1994. Let me look to see.
Ask.
Yeah, 1994.
Wow.
This is Fear Street #1, The
So-
New Girl.
Have any of you guys read Fear Street before? Because I definitely did not.
I did.
Okay.
100%, yeah.
No, my first one was the one we
Party
read
Games.
last
Party Games.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So is
John?
this like? I mean, I know what it looks like to me. It looks like a slightly aged up version of Goosebumps. Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
that's basically what it
so,
is.
yeah,
So it's like high school instead of middle school.
right.
Yes.
And I can tell from the format of the PDF that you sent me that it's like a standard paperback size. It's not the kind of slightly closer to whatever that size is, chapter book size. It's not like it doesn't
Yeah,
even look as
it's
much like a
definitely
kid's book as a
Like the-
Goosebumps book.
Almost like 4.5 by 6 inches.
Yes.
It's longer. It's a little more challenging to read.
I love that the scans of
They're
these
all
pages
challenging
are so
to read.
good. The scans of these pages of this PDF are so
Oh,
good.
I love
you
it.
see the words on the other side of the page.
yeah.
John showed me that, and I was like, "Who the fuck scanned this all in?
Yeah,
Can
I
you
love it.
imagine
An
that
angel?
day?"
Yeah, someone doing God's work. We are recording this remotely because we're still in the middle of a global pandemic and we're being smart about it. And so I found some really good resources online and was able to find a PDF that we're all reading from, and it is literally a scanned. It's just a scanned PDF of the original book, the original like cover also. Which, speaking of the cover,
Can I see it?
Yeah.
I didn't really look at it.
here,
The
why
New
don't
Girl.
you do us the favor and read us the tagline of The New Girl? And just describe to the listener what's going on there.
Okay, so there's a girl wearing a baggy red sweater and a pink skirt and
1994.
some little yellow flats, and she is walking down the middle of a street.
Maybe
that
it's Fear
looks
Street.
like it looks like old New Orleans, like it's kind of gothic looking, really spooky looking houses.
Classic Fear Street.
She's the only thing in color. There's a gigantic full moon in the background, and there's no one else around. And the tagline says, "He had to learn her secret or die trying." I don't know who he is, but I'm
I'm
guessing
gonna guess her main character.
she's the new girl.
Yeah.
Since it's called the new girl.
Okay, do we want to, before we even start, do we want to just like take a random guess at what this book is about?
Well, I can tell you that one thing, like looking at that cover, she looks like she would be the protagonist of the story. But the tagline makes it almost seem like she would be some kind of femme fatale come to town. You know, that if there's a he is either like a stalker or he's some kind of innocent guy who gets swept up in some crazy drama involving the new girl. So I have no idea which of those is true, whether she's like, she's new in town and what's the mystery about her, or is like, you know, is the mystery like not her fault and it's just kind of what follows her.
I'm gonna say werewolf.
See, I was gonna say ghost.
Because giant moon. I was thinking vampire because it looks all old and gothic, but then I saw the giant moon, and I think
All
maybe
right.
werewolf.
Okay,
All
Were you
right,
gonna say
I have
ghost?
two thoughts.
because it kind of looks like she's a little translucent, but that could just be
Yeah.
a bad scan.
I think she's backlit from that lamppost.
I think
Or
that's
just
like
like
fog.
80s
You're
art.
seeing her through fog too.
All right, she's
Yeah.
through fog, so maybe it's maybe she is a werewolf.
I have two thoughts. The first one, the way she is drawn on the cover, it's almost like she's in a completely different drawing of like where like she's just like leaning on something, like with her elbow up,
Okay.
like from like the drawing of like she's at a bar or something and she's leaning up and like her one foot's like resting on the rail underneath the bar.
But she looks so distraught.
Like she looks like she's about to fall to one side. And but then my other thought is like if our previous books have taught us anything, her secret is that she has diabetes.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good callback.
It's a good Babysitter's Club ref.
Yeah. What I also love about this scanned PDF is that it also has like the glue from where a sticker was torn off on the cover.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wonder how
Very
much it
legit.
cost.
It's super legit. Okay.
You can tell it was one of those
So-
frustrating stickers that didn't come off too. You know, this is one where you would
Yeah.
you'd have to get your nail involved, and you might
It
like
left the
you'd
residue
never
behind.
get it. Yeah, you'd never get it all the way out.
Well, the
hate
person
those
scanning
stickers.
it didn't want it to get traced back to the used bookstore they bought it from.
So we're starting this fresh. This is the first Fear Street, so I want to read this first page, which seems like it's a primer for Fear Street. It says that the headline is, "Are you sure you want to turn down Fear Street?"
Oh my god, I don't know. I'm rethinking everything now.
Okay, guys. The most horrifying things seem to happen to those who live on Fear Street. The town of Shadyside is nice enough, and the students at Shadyside High seem to be an average group of kids.
I'm out.
So why does...
Quick note.
Yeah.
Be spookier.
Okay.
I also just remembered that the guy in Party Games was named Brandon Fear.
Brendan Fear.
Brendan Fear?
Was it Brendan or... It was Brendan, right? Brendan or
Yeah, it's
Brandon?
Brendan.
It doesn't matter. They're both stupid.
And his house was on Fear Lake.
Yes!
Okay,
fuck.
I'm
Well,
gonna
his
be spookier.
ancestral home.
Yeah.
His ancestral home. The students at Shadyside High seem to be an average group of kids.
So why does everyone tell such stories about Fear Street? About unspeakable terrors, troubled cries in the night, twisted nightmares? About people who venture into Fear Street woods and are never seen again? About strange cries late at night from the old Simon Fear mansion? A house that's been deserted for 50 years. About lost teenagers, mysterious fires, brutal crimes, unsolved mysteries like that TV show from the 90s. About normal people, people just like you, who turn down Fear Street and are never quite normal again. Go ahead, take a walk down Fear Street. Those stories couldn't be true. No way. There couldn't be that much terror awaiting you on one narrow old street. Could there?
Imagine, if you will. Imagine,
How was
if
that?
you will, a young girl moves to a small town. Turns out she's diabetic.
All right.
I was an
very
airplane.
Okay. First printing 1989,
Wow.
not 94. All right.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Cool. Okay. Prologue. We're in a prologue. All right. So let's do me, Becca, Chris, John. How's that sound?
So the normal
Normal.
take. So.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
All
is that
right.
like an alt-right thing now to do thumbs up? I just realized.
Is it?
Is it? No.
Isn't there something
Only
wrong with
your right hand.
There's something wrong with
They
everything.
can't take the
co-opt
thumbs
that.
up from us.
Oh, maybe they took this. That's what they took, right? It's the okay
Yeah,
symbol.
yeah,
okay.
that's what they took.
Thumbs up's
Take a
just
thumbs
lame.
up back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Also, it's an
I'll take
audio
that.
medium, so I think we're covered.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's true. Prologue. Bye, Anna. Goodbye. Look at her down there, all crumpled. Her dress all crumpled. Oh, God. What the fuck is this already?
What is
Is that going to be
happening?
the word for this book?
Crumpled. Crumpled.
Yeah.
She wouldn't like that. She was always so neat. She wouldn't like the blood. So dark and messy. You were always so perfect, Anna. You were always so bright and shiny, as if you were a sparkly new every day. My diamond, Mom always said. And who was I then? Who was I while you were Little Miss Perfect? Well, you're perfect now. You're perfectly dead. Ha ha! I shouldn't laugh, but it was so easy. I never dreamed it would be so easy. Oh, I dreamed about it a lot. I dreamed about it and I wished it, and oh, did I feel guilty. It's very short.
Okay.
But I never knew it would be easy. One push, and down you go. Look at you down there, all crumpled. So perfectly crumpled. And now the front door is opening. They are returning, and I am starting to cry. It is a horrible tragedy after all. Am I a robot? I can't use contractions. A horrible, tragic accident. I must cry for you now, and I must run and tell them. Anna's dead, Mom! Come quickly! It's all too horrible, but Anna's dead! Okay.
What?
Oh,
Alright, maybe she is a ghost.
oh boy.
Oh, this is gonna be hard to read.
I just realized I'm not playing our spooky sounds, but that's fine.
That's
You can add it in post.
Chapter 1. When Corey Brooks saw the new girl for the first time, he was standing on his head in the lunchroom. Actually, he was standing on his head and one hand while balancing a full lunch tray in his free hand, his black Converse high tops reaching straight up to where his head would normally be. A few seconds...
That's what kids did before the internet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a handstand. Just because I don't have an iPhone. A few seconds earlier, David Metcalf, Corey's best friend and fellow daredevil from the Shady Side High gymnastics team, had suggested that Corey couldn't perform this feat. "That's too easy, man," Corey had said, shaking his head. Corey never passed up an opportunity to prove David wrong. He hesitated for only a second, running his hand back through his curly black hair and looking across the large crowded room to make sure no teachers were watching. Then he flipped over in midair, landed, and balanced on his head and hand without even tilting the loaded tray.
What?
I don't know.
Alright.
I don't know, man.
And now David was applauding and whistling his approval from a nearby table, along with several other laughing, cheering spectators. "Now do it no hands," David called. "Yeah, do it," Arnie Tobin, another gymnastics team pal,
Arnie
urged.
Tobin?
What?
"Do it with no head," another joker yelled. Everyone laughed. Corey, meanwhile, was beginning to feel a little uncomfortable. The blood was rushing to his head. He felt a little dizzy, and the top of his head began to ache from pressing against the hard tile floor. "I dare you to eat your lunch like that," David called, always challenging Corey on to greater glories. "What's for dessert? Upside-down cake?" a girl yelled from near the windows. Several kids groaned and hissed their disapproval of this bad joke.
They hissed at her? Jesus.
That's a tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
Boo!
"Corey, looking good," someone shouted. "What is going on?" called an alarmed voice, the voice of a teacher. The jokes, the loud voices, the cheers and laughter all seemed to fade when the new girl floated into Corey's view. She was so pale, so blonde,
Floated,
so
she's a
bright,
ghost.
so beautiful. At first he thought he was imagining her. All the blood rushing to his head must be causing him to see things, which I was about to ad-lib if it wasn't written down. She was walking against the far wall, heading quickly to the double doorways. Corey caught only a glimpse of her, upside down. She stopped to stare at him. He saw pale blue eyes. His eyes connected with hers.
Did she know he was staring back at her? Was she smiling or frowning? It was impossible to tell from his position. Which, by the way, this is the most awkward bit of staging where he's on his head. Do you ever read read a passage like that and think, I don't know if I fully understand what's going on here?
I really don't.
And they
understand.
keep
Every R.L. Stine book.
but he's standing on his head in the cafeteria and he's holding his tray. Did I glean?
It's head and one hand, and then the other hand is holding the tray.
Okay.
What?
And now he's
Okay.
making eyes
Very
at the
hard
new
to
girl.
picture.
Well, okay. All right. Cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Bekah. I'll be checking in with
Hang
you
on.
periodically.
You're welcome, I gotcha.
One
I'll
second.
keep track of the logistics.
So, I need to figure out something with the Zoom thing because it's gonna kick us off in 10 minutes.
Why? Can we just sign into your work one? Isn't that what we did before?
It is what we did before, but then
But then you fucked up that thing at work because of it.
yes, that and also
I can do it because I have the pro thing.
oh, you do?
I mean,
Oh,
I
do
signed
you?
up for it,
I was just gonna.
so.
well, I see. I was just thinking like maybe I'll just sign up for it.
Oh,
Yeah, like.
I mean, you're probably going to use it enough to want to do that. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, so
It's only. Oh wait, $12 a month.
$12 a month, save $30 instead of $15 a month.
That's $150 a year.
Let's just
Don't they have a fucking free trial or something?
Right. Well, I guess they did because I was doing this before and they were giving me free minutes, but now all of a sudden it's just like, just kidding.
It's
Yeah,
'cause
quarantine's
shit's
almost
opening
over,
back up.
assholes.
Yeah, so they don't want to give people free
Well, the
time
first time you do it, it gives you a freebie, and then after that, it's as long as there's more than 3 people, there's more than 2 people on the call, then it caps you. But if there's only 2 people on the call, then it doesn't cap you.
Shit.
Yeah.
Guess we gotta kick Chris out.
Alright, I'm off to play video games.
Do monthly. We're not gonna do this forever.
Yeah, it's true. Alright. Okay, bear with me a second.
All right.
You can do PayPal.
Continue.
I love PayPal.
I'll be right back. Bye forever.
Look at the old phone.
I guess this is how Zoom makes money.
Yeah, that would be how. Ugh, everything on the internet's just horrible.
I'm not a robot.
I am not a number. I am a man. His brother would do that joke.
Good for him.
I feel like that's not the first time you've said that.
No, it might even be about that specific thing too.
What is it?
The prisoner.
Oh. I know of The Prisoner, but I've never watched The Prisoner.
I used to watch it on Nick at Night with my dad. Back when he was cool.
Aw.
But, I mean, for the most part, he's fine. It's just
Yay, this meeting now has
sometimes-
unlimited minutes.
Yay.
Unlimited power!
I feel like my dad is one of the last dads in our lives that hasn't said something horrible online. And now I just feel like it's a matter of time.
Okay.
But he's been pretty awesome.
Okay.
I bought him an extra Father's Day present. 'Cause he's been so nice.
Hey everybody, I just got this message. I'm on a Zoom chat right now. It's been upgraded by the host. The
Oh,
host
yeah.
totally upgraded.
Only the best for you guys.
Yeah.
That's the kind of crowd I run
Money's
with.
no object for below grade level.
This COVID situation
Okay.
is looking up.
So, sorry. Where were we?
I had
John
just
was-
stopped to clarify with my consultant Bekah about what the fuck is going on with the pose that this guy's in.
Right.
And we believe he's doing something with a tray in his head, and he's also making eyes at a new girl
Okay.
all at once. He's
All
a
right.
special lad. Is it Cody? Corey.
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 Um,
Okay.
Was she smiling or frowning? It was impossible to tell from his position. Then she shook her blonde head.
Well, just think about what she's doing and flip it.
When she's frowning, she's actually smiling.
She shook her blonde head as if purposefully breaking the connection and vanished from his view. Those eyes. Who is she, Corey thought. She's incredible. Thinking about the new girl, he forgot to concentrate on the delicate balance that was keeping him upright. The tray fell first. Then, Corey fell. His face sliding messily into his food. His chest hitting the floor hard. His long legs sprawling behind him. The room erupted in laughter and sarcastic applause. Do it again! Arnie Tobin's
like
voice boomed. Arnie could outshout any crowd. David hurried over to help Corey up. Can you believe this shit? Any more bright ideas? Corey groaned, pulling spaghetti and tomato sauce out of his hair.
Oh.
The worst hair food.
Poor Corey. Next time, just get a sandwich, David said, laughing. That asshole. He had carrot-colored hair and freckles almost as orange.
What? Carrot?
Shit. So you know he's gonna be a goofball.
Oh, it's true.
He's a Weasley.
Yeah.
You can just... aren't we supposed to be, like, taking those characters and writing our own stories with them now? That J.K. Rowling has
Yeah.
come out as a...
They're all public domain now.
come out as an
She
asshole.
forfeit her rights.
Oh, you failed your whole fan base.
He had carrot-colored hair.
Telling...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's unrelated.
No, go ahead.
I was just telling John that I could care less about ever reading Harry Potter again, but I really love her Robert Galbraith mysteries. So I'm really fucking sad about that.
Didn't she write them under a male pseudonym?
Yeah. She still does, even though she was outed as it being her. She still writes under his name.
Right. It's always annoying when somebody who could have just sat there and not said anything, like, opens their mouth and then, like, messes everything up for everybody, you know, or at least for, like, a large fan base. And I'm kind of, like, similar. Like, it was great watching my son get into reading through those books, but I'm kind of done with them to some extent. But it's weird to think that, that she just wouldn't be conscious of, like, what she's doing to the legacy of her own thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like she can't stop shooting herself in the foot.
Yeah.
She just
literally
won't stop talking about it.
Well, you remember how long those books were?
That's true. She's got a fucking lot to say.
She's nothing if not long-winded.
Okay.
So we think David is the carrot-colored jokester. I was reading him more like the like an asshole. So let's go back and next time just get a sandwich. David said, laughing. He had carrot-colored hair and freckles almost as orange, and he had a whooping, high-pitched laugh that could make dogs perk up their ears for miles around.
Horrible.
I still don't like him.
Please stop.
Corey used the front of his T-shirt to wipe spaghetti sauce from his face. When he looked up, Miss McReady, the lunchroom monitor, was in front of him. She didn't say anything. She just shook her head.
What's a lunchroom monitor?
I was wondering that, but then
Like
I
a
thought
lunch
maybe we
chaperone?
just didn't have them in public school. We had a police officer.
I don't know what a lunchroom monitor is.
I had one in elementary school.
Is it just to make sure that no food fights happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
She was kind of like the Trunchbull, like
The what?
I never saw that
Matilda.
movie.
Oh.
The what?
The Trunchbull from Matilda. She was like this huge, imposing lady, and like, God forbid you laughed too loud while eating. It was awful.
Well, it would be pretty bad to laugh while eating.
Sounds awful.
It's a mess. Sorry about that, Corey said, feeling more than a little foolish. About what? Miss McReady asked, keeping a straight face.
Jesus.
Corey laughed. Thank goodness Miss McCready had a good sense of humor. Did she?
It was all Arnie's idea,
David told her, pointing back to the table where Arnie was busily shoving pretzel sticks into his mouth 3 at a time. Question, are they thin pretzel sticks or are they like the big chunky pretzel sticks? Because that's really gonna
I was picturing thin.
color like... It's like shoving 3 thin ones in your mouth isn't that big
Well,
of a
yeah,
deal.
maybe it is
I
big
think
ones, because
the
I was
thin
thinking
ones-
I'll put 3 thin ones in my mouth.
Yeah. I think the thin ones were a pretty radical invention when they came out.
Okay, so he was shoving like 3 big, thick fucking pretzel sticks in his mouth 3 at a time.
I don't think Arnie's ever had an idea.
Mrs. McCready said, still straight-faced. Then she gave Corey a quick wink and walked away.
Is she a cookie
Still
monster?
dripping with... Yes, she is a cookie monster.
Not the cookie monster, but just one of
She's
the
not
many
Cookie
cookie
Monster.
monsters.
She's just a cookie. Yeah, she's a cookie monster. Still dripping with noodles and tomato sauce. Oh yeah. Corey bent down to pick up the tray. Hey David, who is that girl?
What girl?
The blonde girl. The one who walked out while...
Who?
David seemed confused. He picked up Corey's scattered silverware and tossed it onto the tray.
A new girl?
Corey groaned. Didn't you see her?
No, I was watching you make a total dork of yourself.
Me?
Maybe no one else will see her.
It was your idea. She's a ghost.
It wasn't my idea to do a face dive onto a plate of spaghetti. She's blonde, and she was...
I don't know if it lagged and sounded like that, or if that's how you said spaghetti, but...
That's just what he did.
That's how I said it. She's blonde, and she was wearing a pale blue dress.
Who?
Oh my god. The girl I saw, you fucking idiot.
Go walk around a little.
You saw a girl wearing a dress to school?
Why won't you listen, David? You don't believe me, huh? Corey looked to the doorway as if she might still be there, but then his stomach growled, and he remembered he'd just ruined he hadn't eaten because he was being a dumb dipshit and holding his lunch upside down and then fell into it, so he didn't eat anything. Hey, David, you got any money? I'm starving. What a dumb dick.
God. Don't look at me, man, David said, grinning and backing away. Come on, you owe me. Corey put the tray down on an empty table and started to come after him. No way, man. Where's your lunch? We'll split it. Corey changed direction and headed toward David's table. My lunch? Forget it. I haven't... Corey took the apple off of David's tray, then grabbed a handful of pretzel sticks from Arnie's. Hey, I need those, Arnie protested.
I have a salt deficiency.
Making a futile swipe to get them back. Be a pal, Corey said through a mouthful of apple. We've got practice after school, right? If I don't eat, I'll be too weak to climb onto the balance beam. This just feels
Gymnastics
like a weird...
practice?
Yeah, he said something about gymnastics before.
Oh.
That seems like a weird sport to center around.
Okay. Mary Lou Retton.
Break my heart, Arnie said as he broke off the pretzels in Corey's hand and shoved the halves quickly into his own mouth. So he just went, crack!
What a visual.
Maybe the rest of us will stand a chance. Corey detected more than a little resentment from Arnie. He felt bad about that, but what could he do? He couldn't help it if he was a more talented gymnast than his teammates. He'd been on the varsity gymnastics team since his freshman year at Shadyside, and Coach Wellner really thought he had a chance of making the all-state championships the following spring. It's a good thing Coach Wellner didn't see me fall into my lunch, Corey thought. He finished off the last of Arnie's pretzel sticks and slurped up the last few drops of David's chocolate milk, then crushed the cardboard container in his hand. A well-balanced lunch, he said, hiccuping.
Well balanced to get
Just,
it.
grabbed a bite of everyone's food.
So for just a brief second here, I really want to overanalyze a sentence that R.L. Stine just wrote.
Okay.
So he said, slurped up the last few drops of David's chocolate milk, then crushed the cardboard container in his hand. Wouldn't that be an appropriate use of the word carton?
Look at you cracking this wide open.
Like a chocolate milk carton, a carton of chocolate milk, that are in schools. But instead, if a box is in a basement or an attic or a garage,
or literally anywhere in a house, yeah. I'm telling you, it's got to be a Midwest thing.
You blew my mind.
R.L. Stine.
Well, now at least it makes sense.
When will you notice us?
How long?
Hopefully never. We've shit on him a lot.
How many years
I want to get
of
a
us
cease and
reading?
desist from him so bad.
Oh, God. I don't. I gotta take so much shit down if that happened. It's like half our catalog.
Arnie was busy showing David a new way to slap someone 5, which is an actual sentence that was written by a human being.
I want to know how.
Is it the Troy Nobbit thing?
I want to see a diagram.
He had a serious look on his normally grinning face.
Was it just down low?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, I call this one too slow.
Up top.
And he was slapping
I just
David's
invented
hand
it. It's called up top.
again and again.
This is called the down
just to
low.
get it right. Not like that, jerk, he kept saying. Corey couldn't figure out who was the jerk. Later, he told
You're
them,
all
tossing the crushed milk carton, he said
Carton! Drink!
into a trash
If you
basket
insist.
halfway across the room. They didn't look up. He headed towards the double doors, ignoring some kids who were laughing about his stained shirt and the congealed tomato sauce in his hair.
Oh, I
Hey,
hate
Corey,
that word.
think
That's
fast.
disgusting.
Someone threw a milk carton at him. It bounced off the table and hit the floor. It was carton twice, and it is appropriately used. So I don't know if we have to drink if it's appropriately used.
Now they're overusing it, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on,
He
Stine.
didn't turn around. He was thinking about the girl in the blue dress again. He had seen her for only a few seconds, upside down, but he knew she was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. At least upside down.
Oh my god.
Hauntingly beautiful. The
Wait.
phrase,
Yeah, it's italicized. Whoever
Chris.
said ghost was right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Is italicized.
I'll do a reread on
Yes,
that.
yes. Oh, for God's sake.
Man,
But
I
he
really
knew
hope
she
she's
was
still
the
a
most-
werewolf.
A werewolf? Yeah.
But he knew she was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Hauntingly beautiful. The phrase popped into his head. He realized he was looking for her as he headed down the hall to his locker. Where is she? Who is she?
What
I
is
didn't
she?
imagine her, did I?
Why?
Why is she?
Why is she? When is she?
Hey, Corey, you swimming your lunch? He didn't turn around to see who that was. He realized he must look pretty bad. Suddenly, he hoped he wouldn't run into the girl now. He didn't want her to see him with tomato sauce in his hair and all over his shirt.
Now it's definitely gonna happen.
Like a
Take a
racist.
shower.
I'm so sick of hearing about this fucking spaghetti, guys. I'm so sick
Right?
of
How
it.
long do we gotta go over this spaghetti?
I know.
Trying to decide what to do. Was there time to head down to the showers? He looked at his watch. No. The bell for 5th period would ring in less than 2 minutes.
Maybe he could cut English. No. Mr. Heston was explaining the term
still
paper
couldn't.
assignment today. Hold on a second.
You can cut my class out of my cold dead hand.
That took me a minute.
Lisa Bloom walked up and began turning the combination lock to open her locker. She pulled the lock open, then looked at him. You look great. Thanks. He looked down at his shirt. This remind you of when we were little kids?
And
No.
we stabbed each other?
You were neater then. She laughed. Ha ha ha. Corey and Lisa had lived next door to each other in the North Hills section of town for their entire lives. They had played together since they were toddlers. Their two families were so close, they were like one big family. Living so close together, Corey and Lisa had managed to stay friends even through those years when boys only play with boys and girls only play with girls. Now, as teenagers, they knew each other so well, they were so comfortable with each other, their friendship seemed a natural part of life. Lisa had dark good looks, long black hair that tumbled in curls down to her shoulders, black almond-shaped eyes, and dark lipstick lips that curled into a half smile whenever she said something funny, which was often.
Black eyes, a doll's eyes.
A lot of kids said she looked like Cher.
Okay, now we know what voice to do for Lisa.
That's true.
Hey, Corey.
Lisa pretended not to be flattered by the comparison, but she was secretly pleased.
Oh, shit.
Now she stared at Corey in front of their lockers. I was standing on my head in the lunchroom, he told her, as if that fully explained his appearance. I've never done Cher before, so let's see how this goes. All right. You put your tongue in the corner of your mouth? Is that the secret? Not again. I can't do Cher.
It's like a back of the throat, like,
Oh, hey, babe.
Yeah, you start out with like a... and then you just put words to it.
Not again.
Tired Kermit the Frog.
Okay, I'll start with Kermit. I do Kermit, and then I'll get... Then I'll
Oh my god.
then I'll go
holy
tired.
shit.
I'll get tireder and tireder, and now I'm
And
no.
then like, Kermit smoked
Do
a lot of
you
cigarettes.
believe in life after life?
Oh, fuck.
Not again.
She said. She bent down to pick up some books from the floor of the locker.
Who are you showing off for this time?
Her question annoyed him. I didn't say I was showing off. I just said I was standing on my head. Duh.
David Dodger, too, right?
How'd you know?
Lucky girls.
She stood up. Her arms...
Terrible.
I'm sorry. She stood up, her arms filled with texts and notebooks.
You can't go into class like that. You smell like a pizza.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Now, Cher can't move her face that much, so stop moving your face.
Stop
when
moving
you're
my
doing
mouth,
that
okay.
voice.
You smell like a pizza.
How's that? Is that better?
Not at
Better.
all.
Worse?
Just add
can I
babe to the
do?
end of every line, and it'll sound more like her.
Okay.
Here, babe. You can borrow a t-shirt, babe.
She bent down again to flawless share. She bent down again to rummage in the cluttered locker. A girl's shirt? I can't wear a girl's shirt. He grabbed the sleeve of her sweater and started to pull her up violently. She pulled out of his grasp.
It's not a girl's shirt. It's from the Gap. It's for girls or boys.
So much of this.
You know, babe. It's just a shirt.
I don't know, but I'm not going to stop. She pulled the black and white striped t-shirt out and tossed it to him.
But wash your hair before you put it on.
The warning bell rang. Locker doors slammed. They all grew quiet as kids disappeared into their 5th period classes. Get real. How can I wash my hair? She pointed to the water fountain across the hall. He smiled at her gratefully. You're smart, Lisa. I always said you were smart. Yeah.
That's a real compliment coming from a guy who puts his head in his spaghetti, babe.
She said, her mouth sliding into the familiar wry half smile that we all know Cher looks like. Hold the water on for me, he said, walking quickly to the low white fountain. He looked down the hall to make sure no one was watching. The hall was nearly deserted.
No way, Corey. I don't want to be late. She followed him anyway. And I certainly don't want to be seen with you. You're a pal, Lisa. He didn't see her frown. She hated that word. She hated to be a pal. She sighed and turned the water knob. Then she stood there hoping that no one would come by as he plunged his head into the fountain and frantically struggled to scrub the dried sauce from his tangled curls. The bell rang. She let go of the fountain. Corey, I've got to go. He stood up, water pouring down his face. Good thing the water in this fountain never gets cold, he said. He pulled off the stained t-shirt and dried his hair with it. Corey, really, I don't want to be late. She tossed the clean t-shirt at him and struggling to... What? Oh. My brain stopped. She tossed the clean t-shirt at him and, struggling to hold on to her armload of books, ran to class. That was a hard sentence to say. The striped shirt fell to the floor in front of Corey's sneakers. Still rubbing his hair dry with the dirty shirt, he bent over to pick it up. When he stood up, he saw her again. First he saw her blue dress. Then he saw her blonde hair. She was halfway down the hall, hurrying to class. There was something strange about the way she moved. Her feet didn't make a sound as she ran. She was so light, she seemed to be floating a few inches above the ground. It's all misdirection. She's a fucking werewolf.
She's a floating, really quiet werewolf. That's what we're...
Yes. It's very nimble werewolf.
Yeah, that's what we're getting here.
Hey, wait, he called to her. She heard him. She stopped and turned her head, her blonde hair swirling behind her, almost as if it was appearing underwater, except she wasn't. Once again, her blue eyes connected with his. What was that in her eyes? Was it fear?
Street.
Her lips moved. She was saying something to him, but he couldn't hear her. You know, like a ghost. Please, don't. Is that what she said? No, that wasn't it. That couldn't be it. A lady turning him down? That never happens. He's on the gymnastics team.
This next line is a real sentence in this book.
Corey was a terrible lip reader. Please don't? No. What had she really said? Why did she look so frightened? Please wait, he called, but she vanished into a classroom. A classroom where a girl with blonde hair and a blue dress died years before.
A classroom that's been boarded up for years.
And some say that on a school day just like this, you can sometimes still not hear her walking.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, why don't you do the, and then, that's like a whole page.
Right.
Yeah.
Chapter 2. Yeah,
Chris.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, Chris,
Corey slammed the gym locker shut and angrily pounded his fist against it. Alright, hold on. I'm trying to remember David's voice.
It's like this.
It's very close to what turned out to be Cher's voice.
He's like
One of the henchmen.
He's like a jokester.
Hey, what's the matter with you, man? David asked, still in his practice sweats. I stink, Corey shouted. I looked like a spaz on the bars today. So, what else is new? David said with a shrug. At least you didn't sprain your ankle. He rubbed the ankle, which was swollen nearly to the size of a softball.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Later,
Go
Corey
home,
muttered
David!
A
disgustedly.
softball?
Fucking.
David, go to the nurse!
He tossed
Jesus.
his wet towel over David's head and angrily shoved his way out through the locker room door. He'd just had the worst practice of the year, maybe of his life, and he knew why. It was The New Girl, the title of the book. Corey had been looking for her for 3 days. He hadn't seen her since that brief moment in the hall before 5th period on Monday, when he figured out she was pretty much a ghost.
But he hadn't been able to get her out of his mind since then. She was just so beautiful. Wait, did I say beautiful? I meant beautiful. He had even dreamt about her that first night. In the dream, he was eating lunch in school instead of dumping it on himself like an idiot. She seemed to float across the lunchroom. She came up to his table, her blue eyes shimmering like the ocean in sunlight. She leaned down and her hair fell over his face, soft and fragrant. And I don't know if I mean his face was soft and fragrant or her hair was soft and fragrant. Let's hope it was her hair. She started to kiss his face, his cheek, his forehead, his other cheek. Soft
Very PG.
kisses,
It is.
so soft he couldn't feel them.
That's like where your grandma kisses you.
Yeah.
He wanted to feel her kisses. He tried to feel
Among
them,
other things.
but he couldn't feel a thing. He reached up to touch her face, a perfectly normal thing to do at school. His hand seemed to go right through her, and he woke up. The dream stayed with him. It should have been a nice dream, an exciting dream, but it wasn't. There was something eerily cold about the dream. Why couldn't he feel her kisses or touch her face? Maybe he had just met her, and that was something he needed to get past. For the next 3 days, he had looked for her in the lunchroom and in the halls between classes. He had even waited by the front door after school, hoping to get a glimpse of her, but she never appeared. And none of the guys Corey had asked knew who she was or even remembered seeing her. Now, as he trudged through the empty corridor, he tried to think about why his timing had been so off during gymnastics practice. But her face kept floating into his mind. And yes, floating is a deliberate word choice. And once again, he imagined her floating across the hall.
Are you real? Corey asked aloud, his voice echoing off the tile walls.
Yeah, I'm real. But what are you?
A girl's voice replied, nearly startling him out of his high tops. Huh? He spun around to find Lisa behind him, a questioning look on her face.
Talking to yourself these days? Babe?
He could feel his face reddening. What are you doing here? It's after 5 o'clock.
It's my school too, you know. I can stay as long as I like. You jocks think you own the place.
He shrugged. He wasn't in the mood to joke around with her. I was working on The Spectator. We were pasting it up. Oh,
What?
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 Is that
What?
her?
What?
Oh.
What? What?
I was working on The Spectator. We were pasting it up today.
Lisa was the assistant editor of the Shadyside High School paper.
I suppose you were doing flip-flops at the gym?
It's not flip-flops, he said grumpily. We have a match against Matawan Friday night,
Good luck.
she said, punching his shoulder.
That's pretty good, right?
They're not that good. They walked down the hall, their footsteps echoing loudly. At their lockers, they stopped to pull out jackets and book bags.
You going home?
Lisa asked.
Want some company, babe?
Sure, he said, although he really didn't.
So now it's turned into the Warner Brothers frog.
We're kind of like Lumpy Space Princess, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, but I'm just going with it.
The thing is, like, if you, no matter how you say it, if you say "babe" at the end,
It becomes Cher, yes.
It comes back to Cher. Yeah.
It, like, so as long as you liberally use the word "babe," it's
Yeah.
fine. Like, it tracks.
Oh, I made myself choke. They walked out the back doorway and stepped down into the teacher's parking lot. Beyond the parking lot stood the football stadium, a concrete oval with long wooden bleachers on 2 sides.
That is what a stadium looks like.
You know, your typical football stadium. And behind the stadium stood Shadyside Park, a wide, grassy park dotted with ancient oaks and sycamores and sassafras trees.
You didn't finish the sentence.
Oh, well, it's very long. I didn't want to deprive Bekah.
Oh. Really? Slow. You just didn't
All
want
right,
to try
give
to
it
say
back.
this word.
What a nice thing to do for her.
Sloping gradually down to the banks of the Kononica River.
Oh, is there a word I didn't
Kononanka?
pronounce?
Kononanka?
Kononaka?
Kononanka River.
Kononica.
Kononanka
Kononanka.
River.
Kononanka.
Actually, a narrow, meandering stream. The nearness of the park made it an afternoon hangout for just about everyone who didn't have an after-school job. It was great for meeting friends, relaxing, enjoying after-school picnics or impromptu parties, studying, making out, playing endless games of frisbee, taking an afternoon siesta. Wait, let's list more things.
What else can you do in that
Or
park?
just staring at squirrels or the slow-flowing river.
My favorite pastime, staring at squirrels.
or the river. You pick one, Jonathan.
Yes, squirrels or river.
If you try to stare at squirrels and the river, we're going to be down here all day. We'll come back on another day.
But are you okay? He's like choking to death in the other room. But not tonight. The wind was cold and gusty, and it swirled tangles of brown leaves in fast circles over the parking lot. Zipping their down jackets against the unexpected cold, Corey and Lisa looked up to a sky that was heavy and dark. A November sky. A snow sky. Why is this so poetic right now? Let's go the front way, he said. They
Hey,
headed
you know what
around
he's
toward
trying
the
to
front
get
of the school. She leaned against him as they walked. He figured she was trying to keep warm. Guess it's really winter. I guess he's bad at picking up signals. They turned up Park
You don't
Drive
think she
and
wants to
headed
go
toward-
the front way with him?
I think she does. I think he doesn't know what's up.
Yeah, you're probably right.
They turned up Park Drive and headed toward North Hills, a walk they had made together thousands of times. Tonight seemed different to him somehow. He guessed he was just in a bad mood. They were silent for a long time, leaning up the hill, the gusting wind first behind them, then blowing hard in their faces. Then they both spoke at once. He. Have you seen a girl with blonde hair, Ed? She. Are you doing anything this weekend, Saturday night?
They both stopped talking at the same time, then started again at the same time. She shoved him. You go first, babe. He shoved her back, but not as hard. No, you. A car horn honked at them. And then someone shouted, just kiss already. Probably someone from school. A dark blue Honda Accord sped by. It was too dark to see who was inside. I asked if you were doing anything Saturday night, babe, she said, leaning against him again. No, I don't think so. I'm not either, she told him. Her voice sounded funny, a little tense. He decided it was just because of the wind.
Go back and say that line a little tense, Chris. Come on. Be committed.
Oh, I'm not either?
Just a little.
I'm not either, babe.
That's pretty good.
She told him. Her voice sounded funny, a little tense. He decided it was just because of the wind. Have you seen a girl with blonde hair and big blue eyes? He asked. What, babe? A very pretty girl, but strange looking, kinda old-fashioned, very pale, you know, like a ghost. She let go of his arm. He didn't see the disappointed look on her face. You mean Anna? She asked. He stopped walking and turned to face her, his expression suddenly excited. The streetlight flickered on. It looked as if he were lighting up because of her answer. Anna? Is that her name? You know her? She's a new girl. Very pale. Blonde. Has her hair just brushed straight back with a beret in front. Wears dresses all the time,
Beret.
babe.
There's a
Whatever.
big difference between a beret and a beret.
Oh, well, yeah, I was going to say. Don't mislead
I
the
don't
listeners.
I don't know.
Fucking
All right.
French ghost.
French-ass ghost.
See, now I lost my place.
She
Where's
wore
dresses all
a
the time?
raspberry beret.
Okay. Yeah, that's her. Anna. What's her last name? I don't know. Lisa snapped, then regretted revealing how annoyed she was. Corwin, I think. Anna Corwin. She's in my 3rd period physics class, babe. Wow, he said, really still not moving. The trees casting shadows across his face as they bent in the wind.
You know her. What's she like?
No, Corey, babe.
I can't do it. Can't do it. I just got the tongue. I sounded so like I was like somewhere between me, like John Travolta and Sammy Davis is what I was doing.
You killed Chris. Chris is dead. Chris is a ghost now.
No, Corey, I don't know her.
I just drank from the wrong can.
I told you, babe. She's a new girl. I don't know her at all. She never says a word in class. Sits in the back row. As pale as a ghost. She's absent a lot. Why are you so hot to know her?
What else do you know? Corey asked, ignoring her question. Come on.
That's it, babe.
Lisa said impatiently. She started walking on ahead of him, taking long strides. Cher does have long legs. I think this is actually Cher.
I think it's Cher.
Yeah. We figured out the secret.
Babes are so much sadder now.
She's not even the new girl.
She's really into him.
If only she could turn back time.
He ran to catch up. I thought I made her up, he said.
No, babe, she's real,
Lisa replied.
She doesn't look real, but she's real. You in love with her or something? Oh, I know. David and you made a bet to see which one could get a date with her first, babe. She shoved him again, nearly knocking him off the sidewalk. I'm right, aren't I? You two always pick on the new girls.
Again, he didn't seem to hear her. Don't you know anything else about her? Whose homeroom is she in? I thought that said whose hormone is she in. I guess I'm sleepy, guys.
Yes. You're caught up in the feelings.
Where does she live? She lives in my hormone. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, babe. I did hear that. She transferred here from Melrose. Her family moved into a house on Fear Street.
Not Fear Street.
Fear Street? Corey stopped short, suddenly chilled. Fear Street, a narrow street that wound past the town's cemetery and through the thick woods on the south edge of town, had a special meaning for everyone in Shadyside. The street was cursed, people said.
Some would say blurst.
Some would say schmersed. The blackened shell of a burned-out mansion, Simon Fear's old mansion, stood high on the first block of Fear Street, overlooking the cemetery, casting eerie shadows that stretched to the dark, tangled woods.
I want to, I don't know how it is where you guys are, but it is, thunderstorming right now. It's perfect outdoor ambience for what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I got, I was hearing rain a little while ago, but I'm not hearing it now, so.
Yeah.
It don't look like shit where I am, so.
It's like terrifying howls, half human, half animal. Hideous cries of pain were said to float out from the mansion late at night. People in Shadyside.
A note for the future, me and Jonathan are just gonna write a very long-ass paragraph just for John Walker to read into a microphone.
Is that the challenge?
Are we?
Yes, we are, because of the way he delivered that very mundane thing. What if it wasn't mundane? What if it was already spectacular? And just
write something spectacular for him. People in Shadyside grew up hearing.
Honestly.
People in Shadyside grew up hearing the stories about Fear Street. Why wouldn't you? It's called fucking Fear Street. About people who wandered into the woods there and disappeared forever. About the strange creatures that supposedly roamed the Fear Street woods. About mysterious fires that couldn't be put out. And bizarre accidents that couldn't be explained. About vengeful spirits that haunted the old houses and prowled through the trees. About unsolved murders and unexplained mysteries. So spooky! When Corey and Lisa were kids, their friends liked to dare one another to go for a walk down on Fear Street at night.
Down on Fear Street.
Down on Fear Street. I love that. I love that Creedence Clearwater song. Down on Fear Street.
Isn't
Yow.
I thought that was a Bob Seger song that I was singing. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just realizing I don't know. It's Heartland Rock.
Were you singing Down on the Boardwalk?
I was singing Down on Fear Street. You know that song, Down on something street? Yeah.
I don't know. It was a challenge few kids were willing to accept, and those who did never stayed on Fear Street for long. Not even though now, even though Corey was older, the words Fear Street still brought a chill.
All of Bob Seger's songs are about taking a crap.
Down on Main Street.
Down on Main Street. I was just about to say.
Nice.
I think
Now go back and listen to that clever parody that I did and think about that now that you know which street
I'm
it is.
remembering it, and I'm laughing internally.
I'm so happy for you.
I think Anna belongs on Fear Street, babe.
Lisa said, giving Corey her half smile.
She could haunt one of those old houses as good as any ghost.
I think she's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, he said, as if he felt he had to defend her against all attacks. Like a white knight.
So do you have a bet with David or what, babe?
She asked. No, he snapped, lost in thought. They reached their houses. Dark, shingled ranch houses, almost identical, set back far from the street behind tall hedges of evergreens on wide, manicured lawns, as were most of the houses in North Hills, the nicest section of town.
Why?
I don't know.
Why are you reading it like that?
Captain Spade!
About Saturday night, she tried again. Yeah, right, see you tomorrow, he said, and began jogging up the long paved drive to his house.
I believe it's pronounced yogging.
Anna Corwin. The name repeated in his mind. What a nice old-fashioned name.
Is it?
That's right, operator. The family's name is Corwin. It's a new number on Fear Street. I'm looking for it, sir, the information operator said. There was a long silence. Why am I so nervous just calling information? Corey asked himself. He had thought about Anna all through dinner. Now, up in his room, he had decided to get her phone number. I just got confused. I know I'm going to be too nervous to call her, he thought. I just want to get the number, in case I want to call her someday. There was a long silence. He sat leaning over the desk in his room, pencil poised over the yellow pad he kept near the phone. Yes, here's the number. It's a new listing. The operator read him the number and he scribbled it down. And what's the address on Fear Street, operator? We're not supposed to give that out, sir.
It's too
Come
scary.
on, I promise. I won't tell anybody. Corey laughed. Surprisingly, the operator laughed too. I guess it's okay. It's my last night anyway.
What? That's fucked up!
She's gonna die.
I'm quitting tomorrow. I don't care what you
It's
do to that
okay,
girl.
it's my last night. I'm gonna dox everyone.
Yeah. It's 444 Fear Street.
4?
How is it not 666?
Right!
Thanks a lot, operator. You're a nice
It's a few
person.
blocks away from
nice
them.
alliteration. You're nice too, she said, and quickly clicked off.
Wait, what?
Corey
That
said,
was
Click
real?
off.
You're a nice
And-
person?
And for our younger listeners, if they exist,
An
calling
operator.
information was a thing that we had to do before the internet.
Whenever you see in old movies, people are like, hello, operator, that was real.
I don't think I ever called an operator.
Hello, operator.
Did you?
Yeah. You press 0.
Yeah,
I
calling
know that.
411.
Yeah.
You never called them up and like when you liked the boy and was like, operator, connect me to Klondike 533.
Operator, I saw a girl on my street
JL5.
today, and I don't know who she is. Can you tell me where she lives? This is what she looks like.
Operator, I need to get a hold of Bristol 112.
Operator, where's my shoe?
Operator, I'd like to report a crime. Someone's stolen my drink.
Powerpuff Girls, please open this jar of pickles.
Operator, I'm down on Fear Street.
Oh my god.
Corey
This
stood
is the
at
rest
his
of the
desk
episode.
and stared
We're
at his
calling
phone
for
number.
the time and the weather.
Oh yeah.
Me and my sister used to use my grandparents' phones because they had 2 wireless phones. We used to use them like walkie-talkies. We would just dial the time, and then we would each take a phone and like run around their house.
Amazing.
just imagine your grandpa being like, "Why is our phone bill so high?"
Yeah, we did get yelled at.
It's $2 more than it should be.
He like bought you guys watches, and he's like, "Stop calling."
You need to know the times, damn bad. I'll buy you a timepiece.
Here's a sundial.
Corey stood over his desk and stared at Anna's phone number on the yellow pad. Should he call it? No. If he called her, what would he say? Hopefully nothing. Call her, Corey. Go ahead. Don't be such a chicken. She's only a girl after all. Sure, she's the most beautiful girl you've ever seen, but she's only a girl. This was written in 1989. He picked up the receiver. His hand was cold and clammy, even though it was quite hot in his room. He stared at the number on the yellow pad until it blurred before his eyes. No, I can't call her. What would I say? I'd just stammer around and sound like a jerk. She already thinks I'm a jerk after seeing me standing on my head in the lunchroom like a jerk. He put down the phone receiver.
Like a jerk.
No. I can't. I just can't. Sure. Why not?
What is
He
this,
picked
the
up
devil
receiver.
talking to him? Like,
This is stupid. I'm gonna make an idiot of myself. He punched her phone number. Put the phone down, Corey. Don't be a jerk. It rang once. Twice. Maybe she won't even remember who I am. It rang again. Again. You know, like a phone. Nobody home, I guess. Whew! He let it ring 4 more times. He was just about to hang up when he heard a click at the other end, and a young man's voice answered.
oh my god.
Yeah?
So am I doing...
Do this then.
Yeah.
All right. So I was waiting to see what character voice you were going to give this new character, and you said, yeah.
It's all you, John.
All you got was a yeah.
All right. Oh, hello. For some reason, he wasn't expecting anyone but Anna to answer. His mouth was suddenly so dry, he wondered if he could speak. Yeah? Is Anna there? Is Anna there? What? Who? That's actually the line.
Who was this guy?
Who was this guy? Why did he sound so annoyed? The book's reacting to me, guys.
Oh no.
Gulp. Who was this guy? Why did he sound so annoyed? Maybe Corey had woken him up. I'm sorry, is this the Corwin house? Corey asked. Yeah, it is. The young man rasped in his ear.
Perfect young man
Rasped.
voice.
Oh, it's reacting.
Could I speak to Anna, please? There was a very long silence.
Sorry, this is the Corwins, but there's no Anna here.
The phone clicked off.
Watching Chris's reaction to that was magical.
Chapter 3.
I didn't want to laugh out loud. I had to hold that in. It hurt.
Chapter 3.
You fucking treasure.
When Corey arrived at school the next morning, Anna Corwin was the first person he saw. It was raining hard, a freezing rain driven by gusty winds. He ran into the building through the side door, his leather jacket pulled up over his head, his wet sneakers slid across the floor, and he nearly collided with her. Oh! He grabbed the wall and stopped. He pulled down his jacket and stared at her. Her locker was the first one next to the door. She was pulling books off the top shelf and didn't seem to notice that he had nearly run into her. She wore a white sweater over a gray skirt, if you know what I mean. Her hair was tied back behind her head with a white ribbon. She's so pale, he thought. It's like I can almost see through her skin. That is so hot. Suddenly, the young man's raspy voice on the phone came back to him.
This is the Corwins, but there's no Anna here.
Well, here she was. What was that guy trying to prove? Why had he lied to Corey? Why did he sound like that?
So
Maybe
young.
He was a jealous... Maybe
So
it was-
young and so raspy.
Why is a baby answering the phone?
Why is a baby smoking a cigar answering the phone?
Is Baby Herman a real person and not just an animated character?
Maybe it was a
Herman's
jealous...
the unsung hero of that movie.
Yeah. Maybe it was a jealous boyfriend, Corey thought. Or maybe Corey had dialed the wrong number, and the guy was just pulling a mean joke. Hi, he said, swinging his book bag down off of his shoulder. A stream of water poured from it. What? Oh, is it raining?
Yes.
A stream of water poured from it onto his already soaked sneakers. She turned, surprised that someone was talking to her. Her eyes, those amazing eyes, looked into his, and then quickly looked down.
Hello,
She said. Then she cleared her throat nervously. You're new, he said. Brilliant line, Corey. Wow, that's a real winner. You say 2 words to her and she already knows what a dork you are.
Yes,
She said. She cleared her throat
You
again.
sound like Audrey.
yes.
She said. She cleared her throat again. Her voice was little more than a whisper. But she seemed pleased that he was talking to her. Your name is Anna, right? I'm Corey Brooks. That's a little better, Corey. Just calm down, man. You're doing okay. No need to fucking blow it already. Just fucking
Totally
calm
not
down.
hitting on a ghost.
You're just a regular teenage boy talking to a ghost. It's nothing abnormal. He reached out to shake her hands. He had to touch her to know for sure that she was real. But his hand was dripping wet. They both stared at it. He quickly brought it back to his side.
Nice to meet you.
She said, turning back to search for something in her locker. You moved on to Fear Street, right? It was almost time for the bell to ring, but he didn't want to leave her. It had taken so long to find her. Even though all he had to do was walk up to her at school, talk.
Why does she keep clearing her throat? She cleared her throat. Yes. You must be pretty brave. Have you heard all the scary stories about Fear Street? About the ghosts and things? Ghosts? Her eyes grew wide and her face filled with such sudden fright. He was immediately sorry he had said that. She seemed to grow even more pale. What kind of stories? Just stories, he said quickly. Not all of them are true, I don't think. Nice going, Corey. Was that the only thing you could think of to say? How feeble can you get? Oh, she said softly. The fear didn't leave her eyes.
Street.
She's so pretty, he thought. Everything about her is so soft, so light. His dream about her came back to him. It made him feel a little embarrassed. Hey, Corey, looking good, some guy called to him. He turned to see who it was. It was just Arnie, giving him the okay sign from down the hall. That's not okay anymore, Arnie. No more okay sign.
Hey,
Thumbs up only.
we now know.
Now we know.
Now we know. Later, Arnie, he called. He watched Arnie go into the wood shop, then turned back to Anna. I, called your house
Probably
last
about
night.
to erect a burning cross.
Oh, God. I just wanted to say hi. A guy answered and said you didn't live there. Did I have the wrong phone number, or... No, she whispered, closing her locker and locking it.
Oh, sorry. Then she turned, without looking back at him, and ran down the hall, disappearing into the crowd of kids heading to homeroom, almost passing through them like a ghost.
Really fucking...
Good mat routine, Coach Wallner said,
Telegraphing
giving
this one
Corey... Good mat routine, Coach Wellner said, giving Corey a hearty slap on the back. Corey, still breathing hard, grinned back at the coach. I'm now rethinking the coach voice, and I'm going to do every Olympic coach from Eastern Europe I can think of.
Okay.
How many
He
can
knew
you
he had
think
done
of?
a good routine. Several.
Okay.
But it was always nice to hear it from the coach. Mr. Wellner, a stern, powerful-looking man with a bodybuilder's physique, even though he was in his late 50s, was sparring with his compliments. Sparing, never mind. So when he said something
Honestly,
nice, it meant
I
something.
thought it was sparring too, because of the context.
Behind them, the match against
They're not
Madawan.
wrestlers.
The first match of the season
Oh, yeah.
continued. Corey looked to the bench for David, wondering if his friend had witnessed his near-perfect routine. Then he remembered that
Brag.
David had sprained his ankle at the last practice. In the last chapter, actually. David was somewhere up in the bleachers, feeling sorry for himself and being miserable. Now, don't press too hard on the rings, Coach Wellner warned. You've been pushing yourself, trying to go too fast up there, and it's been throwing you off your rhythm. Yeah, Corey said, still trying to catch his breath. You feel nervous. the coach asked, staring at Corey, as if trying to see the nervousness in his eyes. No, not really, just excited. Good. That's what we want. Mr. Wellner seemed very pleased. Just remember, don't push it. Easy does it. But push it so we win. He turned away from Corey and let out a loud groan. Oh, get up, Tobin. You can rest later. Arnie had just done the backflip to finish his mat routine and had landed flat on his backside,
breaking his back.
I just realized I've completely forgotten about Arnie. He's Corey's, he's Corey's
so
friend.
far.
He was the kid that was eating the pretzel sticks earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the pretzel stick dick.
He's pretzel guy.
Pretzel stick dick.
They should call him pretzel stick guy. All right.
They should call him Pretzy.
Pretzy. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, look who it is.
stick dick.
It's Pretzy.
Okay, so that's his voice. Hey, I'm Arnie.
The 20 or 30 spectators in the bleachers were laughing their heads off. Arnie's face turned bright scarlet as he pulled himself up and slumped off the mat. It was scarlet because it was covered in blood. Coach Wellner closed his eyes and shook his head disgustedly. Arnie's slip wasn't going to help the Shadyside team score, and the floor routine was the best part of Arnie's program. He was a complete klutz on the rings, and his parallel bar work was uneven to say the least. The Madawan guys were little
Gymnast
people
references.
compared to Corey and his teammates.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what?
Wait, hang on. What?
The book says
Is there a
midgets,
slur?
Yeah, it says midgets.
The
which
Madawan guys
most people
were
refer to as the M
were
word.
diminutive compared to Corey and his teammates, but that gave them an advantage. They were light and strong and agile. A guy like Arnie should be playing tackle on the football team, Corey thought. Whatever made him want to be a gymnast? Whatever made Arnie decide to do anything? He was one of the flakiest guys Corey had ever known. He just grinned his way through life, grinning from year to year, seemingly without ever having a serious thought cross through his mind.
Do you guys even notice when other guys are flaky? Especially in high school.
Ah, God, this is. I just want it to like go down this route now and like
We're
not
learning
stop
so much
talking
about
about
Arnie. I feel like he's never going to show up again after this.
Yeah.
Well, the way that if this were like a rougher story, I would say he's about to die because this is the way you treat a character who's about to die. You like
He's
show
about
that
to
they're
die,
a little bit
yeah.
of a screw up, but we still kind of like them, and then
And then like
Yeah.
dive deep into like their personality,
him
and
a
lot of-
backstory, like
yeah.
just enough to make you care. Then like snap.
right. That's what Stephen
But
King would
also,
do.
for all we know, he's the star of the next book. So.
Well, he might. I mean, maybe he's going to try to do a flip and then break his neck.
True.
I just realized that when I just said that's what Stephen King would do, that's probably like to R.L. Stine. That probably makes him feel bullied. That like takes him back to high school. If somebody's like, Stephen King does this, he probably is like,
Yeah.
fuck Stephen
Oh,
King.
Like I'll show you.
I'll
Yeah,
write for
like-
every other age group than him.
I want to hear R.L. Stine, just very cursingly, and by cursingly, which probably isn't a word.
It's an italicized
But a
word.
a curse-laden rant about how much he hates about Stephen King.
But like,
Wait,
yeah, but
does
by
he hate
curse,
Stephen
he'd
King?
be like, that darn Stephen King. Yeah. I don't know. We're projecting.
Oh, okay.
He actually calls cartons boxes. That's the nerve
The
of that.
gall.
So here's a cool idea. R.L. Stine should now write like thin, large print books for like elderly people. He should just keep aging up.
Oh yeah.
Do they even make horror series for the elderly?
For
That's
senior citizens.
yeah.
Well,
Elderly?
I mean, this was in '89. We're almost there. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna class this shit up. Okay, Brooks. Coach Wellner's voice broke into Corey's thoughts. Go show him how it's done. Corey took a deep breath and headed to the rings. For some reason,
Not like Nigel Thornberry.
Yeah.
they always looked so much higher at a real competition than in practice. He shut the world out as he started his routine. He didn't need his brain. The moves were all locked in his muscles. After practicing these moves thousands and thousands of times, he was like a machine, a smoothly running machine. Okay, up and over. Like my act out. I don't know
Very
that he does,
smooth,
I don't know that
Corey.
he do it like that. Like a superhero.
He just takes off.
Yeah.
Very smooth, Corey. Now faster, harder. Get ready. Here comes the hard part. Up, up. And he saw Anna sitting in the bleachers.
Oh, fuck.
Was it really Anna? No. It couldn't be. Could it? And over, and again. Stop. Reverse. No, it was another blonde girl. They all look the same, don't they? The eyes. Those were her eyes. Yes, it was Anna. What a surprise! She was staring up at him with those blue ghost eyes. She's watching me, he thought. She came to watch me. He stared back at her. And he slipped and dropped hard to the floor. Slam! He didn't feel any pain. He was just confused. He didn't really fall, did he? He didn't really blow the whole routine just because a certain girl had caused him to lose his concentration, had he?
Fell in love with a ghost.
I'm falling for her, he said aloud, laughing as he slowly climbed to his feet. Falling! Do you all get it?
What a fucking weirdo.
I don't like being on the same page as R.L. Stine.
I don't know to do Russian or Nigel Thornberry.
Russian.
Do something completely different.
What's so funny, Brooks? Coach Welder was shouting. I'm falling for her, Corey repeated to himself, losing his fucking mind. It was the second time he had fallen because of her. The second time.
This is making me think of that White Stripes song.
Embarrassed. Which one?
Little Ghost. It's about falling in love with a little ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Gross.
I just got spooked because Dusty put his paws on my knee, and I was like, a ghost!
But the little ghost, it's probably a kid ghost. It's
Dusty, come talk about ghosts with us. I'm falling for her, he repeated to himself. It was the second time he had fallen because
be a
of her.
fully grown
The second time
Smurf
he had
ghost.
embarrassed himself in front of a lot of people. Was that true love or what? What is what it was, because that's not. What's so funny, Brooks? Coach Wellner looked concerned. Are you hysterical or something? You didn't hit your head, did you?
Are you King Candy?
I'm King Candy. I'm okay, Corey said. I'm okay, said Corey, kicking the edge of a mat. I just slipped, that's all. Here, do the next two.
There'll be other matches, Coach Wellner said. He suddenly looked very tired. This one's a comedy act. Go shower, Brooks. Then go home and forget about today. It's really uplifting speech from your coach. Right, Coach. Corey looked up to the bleachers. He remembered just where she was sitting, in the center of the third row. But she wasn't there now. He stared at an empty space in the row. His heart sank. Had she been there in the first place? He hadn't imagined her, had he? Was he cracking up because of this girl? No, of course not. I have to talk to her, he told himself. I have to call her again. Chapter 4. Corey stared at the calendar hanging over his desk. Saturday night. Saturday night, and I'm sitting up here alone in my room, Walkman blasting in my ears, staring at my desk, not even hearing the music, thinking about Anna Corwin. A guy could get pretty depressed, he told himself. He tore off the Walkman headphones and tossed them onto the desk. What do you think he's listening to?
This Mortal Coil.
89?
No, Saturday night's all right for fighting.
Bob Seger.
That's what I was
But
thinking
he's
too.
depressed.
But no, he's listening to The Cure for sure. Like The
Yeah.
Cure, or The Smiths. The Smiths.
Yeah.
He's listening to The Smiths.
I feel the magic between you now.
Anna, Anna, Anna. It's spelled the same both ways.
I almost spit out my drink.
Brilliant, Corey. Just brilliant. Your mind really is turning to cheese, isn't it? He's got such a cruel fucking inner
Yeah,
voice.
what is his inner monologue?
He
It's
needs
insane.
therapy.
Jesus Christ.
Also, it's called a palindrome, Corey.
Yeah.
Right.
He knew he had to stop thinking about her.
What's her name? Race car.
I don't get it.
It's a palindrome.
Oh, that's a palindrome. Okay. He knew he had to stop thinking about her, but how could he? She kept floating into his thoughts no matter what he did. He had liked other girls before, but never like this. He leaned over and grabbed the phone. I'll ask her to a movie or something, he told himself. If I can just get to know her a little, maybe I won't be so crazy, so obsessed.
Good
Those
luck.
eyes.
Seems like you're pretty fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Those hungry, ghostly eyes. that whisper of a voice.
Hungry
That's
eyes. That's what he's listening
As the
to.
wind. No, stop. I can't call her on a Saturday night.
Saturday
You
nights
can't call a
for
girl
fighting.
on a Saturday night. Obviously, it's for fighting.
It's all right for fighting, you know?
She's probably out. I'll try her anyway, he decided. She seemed so pleased when I talked to her at her locker. Did she?
No.
Did she?
No.
No, I can't call her. She'll be insulted.
We weren't even there.
She'll
We were
think
just
I'm
reading
calling-
it in a book, Corey, and she really didn't seem that interested. Oh.
She'll think I'm calling on a Saturday night because I know she wouldn't be out with somebody. I'll call David instead. Maybe he and I can go down to the mall and check out the action. This is an actual sentence in this book. No, David can't go anywhere. He's hobbling around with crutches because of his ankle. Call her, Corey. She'll be thrilled to hear from you. Oh, sure, thrilled. The klutz who always falls on his face when she looks at him. He put down the receiver. Not tonight. No way. I know. I'll catch her at her locker on Monday. Yeah, that's the ticket. Maybe ask her to the basketball game next Friday. He felt a lot better. He had a plan. Now what should I do? The clock on his desk said 8:20. His parents had a hot Scrabble game going downstairs at Lisa's parents. And we all know that when the parents had a hot Scrabble game, the kids weren't allowed downstairs. Corey decided maybe he'd wander next door and see if Lisa was doing anything. Lisa home? He called into the den, pulling on a sweatshirt. Yes, she is, Mrs. Bloom called. Why don't you go over and keep her company, babe?
Poor Lisa.
That's where she gets it. All right. She was kind of down in the dumps because she didn't have a date tonight, babe.
Yeah, she was totally trying to hit on him earlier.
Okay, Corey said,
Yeah.
grabbing a bag of potato chips and a box of chocolate chip cookies off the kitchen shelf to take with him. All that and a bag of chips. There was never anything to eat at the Bloom's house. That was probably the real reason Lisa was depressed. She was probably starving, he figured. I can talk to her about Anna, Corey told himself.
Does it say that? How fucking dumb is he?
Very.
His inner monologue is supposed to be the devil, though, right?
It's normal. It's normal. He is of average man intelligence.
That's true. That's true.
Duh, I can talk to her about Anna, Corey told himself.
Yeah.
Oh my
Just
god.
average.
Yeah, she
average
fucking
man
loved it
intelligence.
before.
Maybe I should press it.
He was eager to discuss Anna with someone. Whenever he brought up the subject with David or Arnie, they just teased him and made bad jokes. He even tried confiding in the potato chips and the cookies, and they too laughed at his love. How'd the match with Matawan go? Wait, match with... Did we say Matawan for that? How'd the match with Matawan... That's the other school, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Methuen?
I think it's Matawan. Wait, this is Mr. Bloom.
How'd the match with Matawan go?
Mr. Bloom called. Don't ask him that, Corey heard his mom say. Don't ask me that, Corey repeated.
Holy fuck.
He fell on his keister.
That sounds exactly like Krell from our D&D game that we do not
Oh
publicize.
god.
He fell on his keister, Corey's dad said in a whisper loud enough to be heard across the street. Oh, wait. He fell on his keister, Corey's dad said in a whisper loud enough to be heard across the street. They all laughed. They all laughed, guys.
His family
I know, this group of adults just laughed at the word keister.
Fucking idiot child.
Thanks, Dad.
I'd probably laugh if someone said keister.
Yeah.
I'd probably make fun of my kid at least once.
Thanks a bunch. Holding the cookies and potato chips in one arm, he pulled open the back door and stepped out into a frosty night.
He's gonna go eat his feelings.
A sliver of a moon was partially hidden by thin wisps of clouds. That moon is so pale, he thought. Oh, God, we know he gets really hot with pale stuff. Oh, God, that moon is so pale, he thought.
This paper hasn't even been printed on.
It's the same color as Anna's hair. Uh-oh, Corey. Wait, his inner monologue is supposed to be like the devil. Uh-oh, Corey.
Oh my god.
You'd better
There's a
watch
visual
it,
aid.
man.
Oh my god.
You're starting to see her everywhere.
Even in the moon. You're getting weird, man. Too weird. You've got to cool it.
He had to knock 3 times before Lisa opened the back door. She was wearing cut-off jeans and an enormous old white shirt that must have been her dad's.
Hot.
Wait, does John Walker have a plushie Hellboy, and have we been over this?
Actually, yeah,
Is it
he normally sits back here.
That's a plushie Hellboy.
I think it might be
It's a plushie Hellboy.
Heck Boy or Hell Baby or some. I don't know.
Heck boy. Heck boy.
It should be Heck Boy.
Oh. Oh,
Oh, hi.
she said, sighing.
It's only you, babe.
Who'd you think?
I thought it was a burglar. You know, someone exciting.
She backed up so that he could walk in. She smiled.
I'm only kidding, babe. I'm glad you came over.
He held up the food packages. The packages of food. Chips and cookies. Now,
I'm really glad.
she said, grabbing them both out of his hands.
I'm starving, babe.
He followed her into the den and sat down on the brown leather couch against the wall.
Yeah, you've gone full LF.
I know. She poured the potato chips into a big ceramic bowl and sat down next to him.
Another fabulous Saturday night.
What were you doing? He asked, grabbing a handful of chips and dropping them down into his mouth. And he asked, grabbing a handful of chips and dropping them down into his mouth, one by one, from above. They tasted better that way, he thought, like a crazy person. What?
I don't know.
Nothing. I rented a movie, but I haven't started it yet. Want to watch it with me, babe?
I don't know. What is it? She walked over to the computer under the counter. I was going to say, like, computer. What year is this? She walked over to the counter under the TV and held up a videotape box.
A Star Trek movie?
Oh, wait. A Star Trek movie? He gave her a double thumbs down. I'm not into Star Trek. I'm dumb.
Neither am I.
She said, sighing again.
I got to the video store late. Everything was gone.
I don't know.
Literally everything but
Everything
Star
but
Trek.
Star
She
Trek.
got Star Trek.
I got to the video store late. They were sold out of everything. The only thing they had was Star Trek. They didn't have Cocoon. They didn't have E.T. They didn't have Raiders of the Lost Ark. They didn't have The Abyss. Didn't have Weekend at Bernie's 1 or 2, babe. They didn't have Batman.
Mannequin?
They didn't have Tim Burton's Batman. They didn't have Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Mannequin.
They didn't have Mannequin. They didn't even have Die Hard, babe.
They didn't have Dream a Little Dream.
When did Die Hard come out?
87-ish.
I figured out my movie
88
club
maybe?
episode. We're gonna watch Mannequin.
Mannequin?
Because I love that movie.
Really? All right.
I watched it as an adult in like the past 5 years. And
You
I
know
was
what's
like,
funny?
holy shit, this is pretty great.
I'm way more familiar with Mannequin 2 on the move.
No, that movie's also amazing.
It is. It's really
but
fucking
the first
crazy.
One, the first one is James Spader.
What?
And Kim Cattrall.
As who? Yeah, Kim Cattrall and Andrew McCarthy, right?
And the guy from Police Academy that was always like Mahoney.
Oh. Yeah, the sergeant or whatever.
Yeah, the guy that always had that cane with the big ball on the top.
All right. Well, they have Star Trek. She slumped back down onto the couch closer to him this time, almost as if she was sending a signal that she's maybe into him. Because she's a girl and he's a boy, they're going through puberty.
I relate so much to the boy character.
They both reached out for more potato chips at the same time. Her hand grabbed his. She quickly let go. He didn't notice that she looked embarrassed. Ah.
Poor Lisa.
Oh, Lisa.
Lisa, you can do better.
Lisa, I'm sorry on behalf of all oblivious teenage boys. I was once given a phone number by a barista written on a cup sleeve. I threw it away because I was like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, what am I supposed to do with this?
What am I supposed to do? Call her and have a relationship?
This must be some kind of mistake.
That's weird that she would give me her number. Oh well.
Is
Best
this
go
like
back
if
to
I
my
have, like,
stupid life of teenage pining.
Jesus Christ.
Is this like if I have questions about coffee, or?
Questions about coffee. How do they make it? Okay, go on.
I'm not autistic.
So how are things, Corey? She asked, turning to face him. Their knees touched.
Oh!
Classic move.
Not great, he said, shrugging.
Mm-mm.
She put her hand on his arm.
What?
It couldn't be more clear. He could feel the warmth through his sweatshirt.
She pulled a boob out.
Get out of there,
Poor
Corey.
baby,
This
what's
Lisa
your
sounds
problem?
fast to me. Get out of there. You're a weird guy, but you seem like kind of a sweet kid. Get out of there.
She just said, poor baby.
Poor baby?
Poor baby, what's your problem?
Poor baby, babe.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, this was wasted on me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I don't know. Nothing really. Everything. He was definitely listening to this.
That was a twist.
Mm-hmm.
She tisked.
Tisk tisk.
Tisk. They didn't say anything for a while. She moved her hand up to his hair and began to finger his curls.
Oh!
I heard about the gymnastics match, she said
sexual.
softly. I
I'm
blew it, he
uncomfortable.
muttered. Shaking his head. I just blew it.
Can we just agree that finger as a verb is ruined? We should all just stop using it, right?
It's an impossible
Finger
verb.
as a verb means one thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll
I
get
don't know if
ready to
it's
hear it
ruined.
again.
Ironically, finger as a verb is tainted, you know, which is like another word
I would-
that's ruined.
Ew.
I wouldn't say it's ruined. I would say it was escalated.
Yeah, you might be right. It's in a whole new
Escalated.
category.
Because it's still a usable verb, but very specifically.
I just know that if I was learning to play clarinet and they were talking to me about my fingering, I would be laughing too hard to play clarinet.
It'd be like,
He would laugh. He'd be like, "Doot, doot, doot."
Mr. Walker, mind your fingering.
You know, I wouldn't stop. I couldn't get a breath. I'm not playing clarinet.
Fuck.
have you ever wheezed into a woodwind?
Becca, tell us more
I
about
have.
fingering.
I shall. Wait, where am I? I lost it.
You're at the second fingering.
Okay, there's the first one. Don't be so tough on yourself, Corey. It's only the first competition. She shoved the potato chip bowl aside and scooted even closer to him. Wait, did I miss something?
No.
Oh, I did! No, I missed the second one. Okay.
Oh no.
I blew it, he muttered, shaking his head. I just blew it. She leaned against him, still rolling her finger lightly in his hair. Don't be so tough on yourself, Corey. It's only the first competition. She shoved the potato chip bowl aside and scooted even closer to him. Anna Corwin was there, he said. I saw her watching me, and I was so surprised, I guess
Corey.
I lost my concentration.
Corey.
What?
Corey.
I said Anna Corwin was there. I saw those blue eyes staring at me and... Creep. What? Nothing. I didn't say anything. She pulled away from him and jumped up to her feet. He looked up, bewildered. Why did she look so angry? Have you
so
ever
angry.
talked with Anna? He asked. She stood over him and crossed her arms in front of her. Corey, I think you should go home. Huh? I just got here.
So do you think their parents are back at Corey's house saying, like, so you think they're boning yet?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
so are our kids doing it yet?
Like we totally set them up. All the elements are there. We're here. They're
Yeah.
there.
I would
They're
like,
like-
Completely unsupervised.
Maybe he'll finally fucking catch on.
I would like to think
Yeah.
that if I was in the situation
Someday.
as a teenager, because I was definitely not in a situation as a teenager where a girl was like touching
Fingering
her
your
knees
hair.
to my knee and like fingering my hair and like saying like, "What's wrong, baby?"
Yeah.
like
to this day,
if that had happened, I would like to think I'd be like, kiss?
I'm a 34-year-old man, and if it's not a cramped situation, and someone goes out of their way to touch their knee to mine, I'm just like, oh no. Like, oh, they expect something from me.
Oh boy.
All right. No, really. Go home. Go home, okay, babe? But why? I'm just not in the mood for company. Okay, babe. I'll see you in school Monday. I just don't feel like talking tonight, babe. He got up slowly, still confused, as someone that age would rightly be. Excuse me? Okay, sorry you're not feeling well. Should I leave the chips and cookies? She glared at him as if that was an obvious answer. She picked up the box of cookies. For a second, he thought she was going to fling it at him, but she put it in his hand. Take the cookies. I'll finish the chips. What the heck? Might as well
Keep
get
the
fat. Why
fucking
not?
cookies. That's asshole tax.
Yeah, right? But then also she says, might as well get fat, why not?
Well, she kept the chips. She made like a weird compromise. Glad I could cheer you up, he said, trying to get her to smile. She didn't.
Uh-oh.
What?
Obviously. She all but threw his dick in her mouth, and like he didn't respond. A few seconds later,
Threw
he
it
stepped
in.
outside, and incredibly confused, heading over the frosty hard grass
like
to
a
his
peanut.
house.
Like a chip. Tastes better that
A
way.
few seconds after that, he was back in his room, sitting on his bed, trying to figure out what to do for the rest of the night. But the
I
weird
guess
part
masturbate.
was, when he did walk back into his house, his parents and her parents said, "Back so soon?" What was Lisa's problem, he wondered.
Do you
It
think
wasn't
they
like
made
her to
bets
be
on
so
it, the
moody.
parents?
Absolutely.
They had to have.
Absolutely!
They planned it.
I think the parents were all too busy fucking. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're having a
Like-
key
Yeah,
party.
exactly.
Well, like her parents are like, she rented Star Trek. She doesn't even like Star Trek.
No, her parents are like, she rented Star Trek. That's the horniest movie.
I would Wrath of Khan a little
But
bit.
say they
yeah.
got Wrath of Khan. That's the horniest one.
Yeah. You try and watch
Wait.
Wrath of Khan and not fuck.
I don't know if that's a joke or not, because that's the only one I've seen. I'm like, is it?
Well, it's got like
the
Ricardo
best one.
Montalban in a vest. I think that automatically makes it the horniest one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you,
Which like there's a lot of debate over whether that's actually Ricardo Montalban's chest
Oh, yeah?
or a prosthetic.
it's his chest.
That's what they want
Well,
you to
yeah,
think.
like he ran Fantasy Island. It's a lot of work. I imagine he'd be very cut from it.
Yeah.
Also, everyone knows the best Star Trek movie is First Contact. But anyway, what was Lisa's problem, he wondered? It wasn't like her to be so moody. She wasn't depressed just because she didn't have a date. Something else had to be bothering her. But what? He glanced at his desk clock. 9:25. His eye fell on the yellow pad beside the phone. He walked over to the desk and stared down at Anna's phone number. Without stopping to think about it, without giving himself time to get nervous, time to talk himself out of it, he punched her number. It rang once, twice. The
3
sound
times a
seemed
lady.
Very far away, even though it was just on the other side of town.
After the third ring, he heard a click. Someone picked it up. A soft female voice said,
Corwins.
do that same voice.
Hello?
"Hello, Anna?" There was a long pause. Corey listened to the static on the line.
Son of a bitch.
The woman's voice repeated. "May I speak to Anna, please?"
Oh!
The woman let out a loud gasp. More silence. Then Corey heard a loud screech in the background. What was that awful sound? It sounded like a girl screaming. Yes, must be the TV, he told himself. It had to be the TV.
Probably just a fox.
Yeah.
They're horrifying.
Why do you call here asking for Anna?
The woman demanded angrily. Hold on, she didn't sound angry.
Why do you call here? Why do you call here asking for Anna?
The woman demanded angrily. Well, again, Corey heard the girl shrieking in the background.
Let me talk! It's for me! I know it's for me!
The woman ignored the girl's cries.
Why do you call to torture me like this?
She asked Corey, her voice trembling. See? Her voice was trembling. The book
Yeah,
is learning from us.
Yeah.
Well, is Anna there? Corey asked.
Corey's not learning.
No, the woman insisted. You know Anna isn't here. You know she isn't. That no was italicized both times. Stop. Please stop.
He heard the beginning of another scream. Then the phone clicked off.
Chapter 5. Corey listened to the hum of the dial tone for a while as he waited for his heart to stop pounding. Remember that? Dial tone?
You know,
When he had a
you
phone
can't
call,
listen
like-
for too long
Really?
before it turns into the one. Then it goes
Played
quiet.
the conversation with the woman over and over again in his mind until the words became a blur. And over the blur, he heard the screams, the girls' screams of protest in the background.
Let me talk! It's for me! I know it's for me!
What was going on there? Huh. Corey's mind whirred with crazy, frightening thoughts. What were they doing to Anna? Why wouldn't they let her come to the phone? Why did they keep insisting she wasn't there? Like she's a ghost or something. Fear Street. Was it claiming another victim?
Does it claim
Was
victims?
Was Anna being held prisoner in her own house? Were they torturing her? You've seen too many bad movies, he told himself. You're being ridiculous. Then, what was the explanation?
I'll go over there, he said aloud. The idea just popped into his mind. It seemed simple enough. He glanced at the desk clock. It was just a little after 10, still early. He examined himself in the mirror in this closet door, straightened the sleeves on his sweatshirt, pushed his dark curly hair back from his forehead with his hands, and headed out of the room and down the stairs toward the den. He stopped halfway down the stairs. Hold on a minute. Do I really want to go to Fear Street by myself? What if something horrible really is happening in that house? What if those screams were real? The big local news story of a few weeks before suddenly flashed into his mind. A family of 3 had been found murdered in the Fear Street woods.
What?
Holy
No
shit.
one was reported missing. No one came forward to identify them. Just another Fear Street unsolved murder. How is this normal?
Just another unsolved murder in
Well,
our town.
it's not normal because obviously the woods exist before the street, but they call it the Fear Street Woods.
Yeah, that's insane. That makes no sense. Corey decided to call David and ask him to come along. David was sure to be sitting home, staring at his ankle, bored out of his mind. What? He needed a little excitement. So I'm going to make him walk on his sprained
Staring at his
fucking ankle.
I wish I could walk.
To Corey's surprise, David thought the idea was a little strange. Let me get this straight, Brooks, he said after Corey had explained their mission. You want to drive over to Fear Street and break in on someone's horror movie to find a girl who isn't there in the first place? Right, Corey said.
Yep, that's about it.
Okay, sounds good to me, David replied. Pick me up in 10 minutes. Make it 5, Corey said, feeling like a badass.
Lighting another cigarette.
David
and slammed the phone down.
Good old David, Corey thought. I can always count on him to be as stupid as I am. Not ad-lib, that's in the book.
Oh my god!
The Scrabble game, the in-quote Scrabble game was still going strong downstairs in the den. The board was nearly filled, and all 4 adults sat staring at it in silence, concentrating on finding a usable open space. I'm going out for a short while, he told his dad. Which
It's
car
just
can I
making me
take?
think of like Venture Brothers, like the flashbacks to like Jonas Venture's like swinger party. Go Team Venture.
Contemplate, isn't it? His mother asked without looking up from the board. She had a letter square in her hand, a blank, which she was rolling over and over between her fingers.
Everything sounds gross
It's
now.
so gross.
It's only 10. Take the Taurus, his father said. Don't take your mother's car. It has more room in it. Where are you going? His mother insisted. Just over to David's. It was partly true. Are you going to make a word or what? Mrs. Bloom asked Corey's mom with that impatient tone everyone gets near the end of an endless Scrabble game. All metaphors.
Let's go upstairs and
How's
make
David
a
doing?
word together, dear.
No. To the plush carpeted basement is where they would go. With many a beanbag
To the
chair.
sex dungeon.
How's David doing? Mr. Brooks asked. Bad, Corey told him. He's on crutches. He's pretty depressed. Poor guy, Mrs. Bloom muttered, staring at her letters. I'll pass, Mrs. Brooks said, sighing unhappily. Oh. Corey grabbed the keys off the front counter and headed out to the car.
David lived about 6 blocks away in the northern corner of North Hills, almost to the river. It was a 2-minute drive. Corey, who I didn't realize before this was old enough to drive, knocked on the front door and waited. It took a long time for David to get to the door.
Sorry, man, I can't go with you.
Was his greeting. What do you mean?
I mean, I can't go. My mom won't let me.
He looked embarrassed. But David's dad, have we met him yet? I guess not. Or David's mother?
No.
Hi, Corey. David's mother called from behind David in the hallway. I really don't want David to go out tonight.
Is she Eartha Kitt?
She purred, licking her hand. He's got to stay away. He's got to stay off the ankle. Besides, he's getting a cold. You understand? Sure, Miss Metcalf, Corey said, unable to hide his disappointment. A cold.
And boner.
What if it said that? Just all of a sudden.
Unable to hide his boner.
Yeah.
That's what broke John Walker.
I know. I'm very proud.
Sure, Mrs.
surprised.
Metcalf, Corey said, unable to hide his boner. A cold. He grinned at David. We wouldn't want Mama's angel to catch a nasty cold, would we? David rolled his eyes and shrugged. Give me a break. Wait, who's talking to who?
God, oh God. What the
I don't even think old RL knows who's talking anymore. I'll call you later and let you know what happened on Fear Street, Corey said. If you don't hear from me, send out the Marines or the National Guard. Have you seen Poltergeist? David asked. Oh,
Have you seen Poltergeist?
David asked.
If you go in that house, you might be sucked right into the TV screen.
Corey didn't laugh. You think this is all a big joke, don't you, you fucking numbnuts? David gave him an exaggerated, wide grin.
I think it's a riot.
Oh God, your face is terrifying.
I know. Well, Corey turned and stomped down the flagstone walk toward his car. You're probably right.
Corey
That was a
drove
great scene.
South. Yeah, I know. I loved it. Corey drove south on Park Drive and headed toward Fear Street. It was a cold and raw night. Gross. Thick clouds of fog drifted rapidly down from the hills. He turned up the heater and he pushed on the radio. He needed some loud music to keep up his spirits. It's a Q-Rock Beatles blast! The disc jockey screamed enthusiastically. 24 hours of Beatles hits in alphabetical order!
Alphabetical?
Alphabetical! Let's start with Abbey Road. Corey laughed. Why would anyone want to listen to music in alphabetical order?
Right?
What an insane thing
That
to
seems like the dumbest way to
happen.
listen to the Beatles.
What a weird thing. What? He wished David
Does that mean
were
you're
there to
starting with
share
Across
laugh.
the Universe? Or A Day in the Life or something?
Abbey
something.
Road.
Abbey
yeah,
Road.
Abbey Road. Yeah. Right, but that's not an album. That's not a song. That's an album.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's
oh,
true.
right. Yeah, okay, so
Yeah,
Across
but
the
they're
Universe.
doing hits. Yeah, but they're doing hits in alphabetical
Yeah.
order, not albums.
Oh, yeah. Beatles
So it
hits.
would be Abbey Road.
So it could be Across the Universe then, because that actually is a song.
But no,
Yeah.
Abbey Road's not a song, right?
Right.
Is it?
Unless they're only
No.
doing
Yeah.
the singles. Yeah.
Let's break it down. Okay.
I'm not
You
going to
wish
look
David
on
were there
Google,
to share-
but we all know I want to, right?
Yeah. No, we all know what we're doing when we finish recording this episode.
Honestly, the phrase "I'm not gonna look on Google, but we all know I want to" sounds like a Beatles song title. So.
He wished David were there to share the laugh. He wished David were there, period. He missed David. He really didn't like the idea of roaming around Fear Street on a cold, foggy, raw night on his own. Oh well, I won't get out of the car.
One block.
I'm picturing old Ellicott City.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm picturing just like a dark suburb.
Yeah.
Just like no lights. Oh. Oh well.
Spooky.
I won't get out of the car, he told himself. I'll just drive past the house and see what's going on. The fog grew thicker as he passed Canyon Road and entered the valley. It was always misty at night down in this part of town, even in the summer. The car headlights seemed to hit the swirling mist and bounce back onto the windshield. He tried the brights, but they were worse. An oncoming car swerved to miss him.
Jesus.
Other drivers couldn't see either. Corey realized a thought that didn't make him feel any more confident. This is a mistake, he told himself. But the fog lightened, and he turned down Mill Road. A small Toyota, jammed with at least 6 teenagers, hopped up on goofballs, honked as it sped past him. They were probably coming from the deserted mill at the end of the road, a favorite makeout spot for shady side kids. The dream about Anna, in which she was kissing his face, flashed in his mind. Corey was horny.
He turned the radio up. Q Rock was up to the L's. Impossible.
By the way, I did find the list, even though I was told not to. And I just want you to know that the first on the list is a disappointing entry in the list because it's there only by a technicality. The second is a song that I'm not even sure what it is, and the third was
Wait, what's the first
was
one?
the one that I guessed.
Okay.
The first is 12 bar original.
Oh.
I don't even think that counts. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what that sounds like.
The next
Is it a hit?
The next one is A Beginning. A Beginning, that famous Beatles hit.
Well, if they're going to go with A something, they've got a lot of other A somethings to go through.
Well, if we're going to go
like
with
A Hard Day's Night.
But as
yeah.
as Chris was pointing out, though, if we're going to go with hits, it's what I said before.
Yeah.
It's A Day in the Life. That would be the first song you've heard of, alphabetically. So, anyway, sorry.
Is it just hits? I'm scrolling back up in the book.
I'm looking at the
Of Beatles
at
hits.
At
All
the
right.
Beatles like one, you know, the number one.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
They're gonna fight.
We're gonna fight.
Finally.
We're gonna fight.
All right. It's been.
No, if you guys were gonna fight, you would have by now with the fucking staying home and working together.
Oh wait, what about?
I
what
think
did you
Sock
say
Puppets
that
would have
was-
done it if they were going to fight.
We.
What did you say was the number one that they would have started with?
Well, A Day in
A
the
Day
Life
in the
or
Life.
A Hard Day's Night. If they go with A, which I don't think A should count.
I don't think A should count either. In which case,
the other
I
one
think
is
it's
Across the
all you
Universe.
need is love.
No,
All You Need Is
Across the
Love.
Universe
Wait,
would be
Across
before
the
that.
Universe would be first.
But that's not. Is that on here?
That's AC instead of AL.
I'm just looking at. I'm looking at the hits. Whatever.
Well, that one
John
CD
Walker-
didn't have all their hits on it.
I can sum up all
It
of their
was very
popsicle
insufficient.
fights, and it's always Bekah suggests something, and then Jonathan just goes, "What? No, that's good. That's a good idea." Well,
Or John says, no, we'll do it like this, and then he just rewords what I just said.
Well, that makes me sound like a giant dick.
No.
Hey, at least you're a giant, Dick.
Did you hear what John Walker said? He said, "At least you're a giant, Dick."
It's true.
You know?
It doesn't happen that often.
It's
No,
only-
it's very rare.
Well, it's,
You
but
just
no,
you
it's
don't
just-
take notes well when you're in that mode.
when I'm in that mode, you're
Yeah.
right. You're 100%.
You're like,
right.
no, and then yeah, it takes a minute, and you consider it, and then you're like, yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
no.
And then he just very quickly goes like, "No, wait, that's great. We're doing that."
Yeah.
And it's awesome to witness in real time.
It's my method. I'm a weird asshole.
Well,
Hey, at least
Q
you're a
Rock
weird
was up
asshole.
To the L's. They were playing "Love Me Do."
They already got to L?
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
They've been doing
How
this a
long
while.
was he driving?
They've been doing this a while.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
been driving for 2 hours.
Oh my
The wrong side
God.
of town is very far
Right, this is a
away.
big town.
And
They played Day Tripper. They played Help. They played Can't Buy Me
Shady Side's a
Love. They played...
Metropolis, apparently.
WTMD does a Beatles Day every year,
Oh, yeah?
where they play their discography in order, which makes sense.
Makes more sense. They played Eleanor Rigby. Hey Jude, Get Back, Come Together. Come on.
All right.
I'm just saying. He's like, how fucking big is this town?
Tapping
What
his
band
hands.
is this?
The Beatles.
The Beatles?
The Beatitude. The Beatitudes. I'm sorry.
Every one of my pages takes 20 minutes. Tapping his hands against the wheel of the music, recreating the sexy dream in his mind, he nearly missed the turn onto Fear Street.
He literally
The
walked
sexy
away.
dream where he got a forehead kiss.
He walked.
He's
had a
listening to the
dream in
Beatles
which
song
he felt-
"Love Me Do," having a sexy fantasy.
He had a dream in which he felt nothing.
Yeah.
And he literally just walked away from a flesh and blood girl who was probably about to go down on him.
Well, he's very dumb.
Yeah.
He nearly missed the turn onto Fear
I
Street.
don't know how Love Me Do
He
goes.
realized I don't like it. I don't like early Beatles. This is a conversation for another time. It sounds like every single one of their early songs.
It's not a sexy
that's a good
song.
one.
It's catchy. It's just
It is
not
not
sexy.
at all.
Yeah.
Dumb pop.
Yeah, it's Dumb Pop.
It's
I
very
like.
cute.
I do like early Beatles.
All right, we'll fight about it later.
We'll fight about it.
Good
later.
harmonies.
We'll fight about it off air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite album's Help. We'll talk about it later.
Ugh.
Boy, you've got to hide your love away.
Ugh. No, we're settling this
We'll
now,
all
Chris.
have a Beatles fight later. He realized where he was and hit the brake hard, making a skidding turn across the wet pavement. It seemed to grow darker as soon as he turned onto the narrow, curving street. It's 10 fucking p.m.
Right.
Sorry, I lost my
But
place.
it's a Saturday,
But it's Fear Street.
so technically it's 9.
What?
What?
On Saturdays, 10 p.m. is 9 p.m.
Not
It's not that
with
late.
the
It's a weekend.
solar system.
What do you say
Tall
weekend
maples.
like an old lady?
Tall maples and oaks line
Weekend.
both sides, their bare, creaking branches nearly forming an archway over the road, tangled limbs blocking much of the pale gray light from the street lamps. He couldn't see it in the dark, but he knew that he was passing Simon Fear's burned-out mansion. I just don't understand why they missed the chance for, like, a creepy alliterative name, and they just picked, like, a boring,
yeah,
tweedy,
Simon.
accountant-sounding
It should be
name.
like
could've been
Phineas.
like,
Felix.
Yes.
I was
Yes,
gonna- Felix, Phineas,
Phineas Fear, that's good.
Fester.
Philo.
Fester
Fear.
Fester Fear. Or even like Alistair Fear.
Yeah.
Or like Aloysius Fear. Like something weird
Not
and old.
Aloysius.
Falcon Fear.
Falcon Fear. That's what I feel every time I look into the sky, Chris.
He's, you feel Falcon. Wow, that's hard to say. You feel,
feel Falcon fear.
I'm feeling pretty Falcon.
Gilbert Fear.
I feel the Falcon Fear.
He sped up and turned on the heater. The houses, rambling old Victorians for the most part, were set far back from the road behind unkempt hedges or overlooking lawns still thick with swirling brown leaves. How am I ever going to find which house is hers? Corey asked himself, wiping the inside of the windshield clear with his sweatshirt sleeve. Why?
He's breathing
it
super hard
foggy?
because he's thinking about that sexy dream.
Oh my gosh, listening to Love Me Do. He squinted out through the smeared glass, trying unsuccessfully to see a street number. What was her number? He asked himself, beginning to panic. Had he driven all this way without even knowing her house number? No. It was 444. He remembered. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
What was the point of that fucking paragraph? He pulled the car over to the side of the road and shifted into park. He turned off the headlights and waited for his eyes to adjust to the darkness. He could actually see a little better with the lights off. Why, this is all
He
boring.
turned off the engine, opened the door, and slid out of the car like a creep. If he was going to find her house, he'd have to do it on foot. Even though he was in a car, the numbers were on the front doors of the houses. There was no way he could read them from the car. He shivered. The sweatshirt didn't offer much protection from the damp cold. He took a deep breath. The air smelled sour. Decaying leaves, most likely. An animal howled nearby, a long, mournful wail. In this either Northern California or New England town. That is undecipherable.
I was thinking New England, but I don't know why.
I'm just
we
thinking
read, I
like
was
Midwest.
New England for sure. And then the other one, like this one, is just like California kind of. It doesn't sound like a dog, he told himself out loud like an idiot, looking in the direction of the sound but seeing nothing. Could it be a wolf? Is this an area in the country where wolves are? The animal howled again and sounded a little closer. Oh shit, maybe werewolf is what it is. That'd be great.
If it's a fucking werewolf, man. Alright.
Corey suddenly remembered being on Fear Street before. He was a kid, 9 or 10, so roughly 6 years ago. His friend Ben had dared him to walk in the woods. Somehow he had gotten the courage to try. But he had walked for only a few minutes when something grabbed his shoulder. Maybe it had been a tree branch, maybe not. He had run screaming down the street. He had never been so scared in his life. Stop thinking about it, he said aloud. His sneakers crunched over the gravel that lined the side of the road. He came to a metal mailbox tilting at an angle toward the street. Squinting in the darkness, he tried to read the faded name on its side, but it was too dark, and the letters were all peeled away. The animal howled again. This time, it sounded farther away. So good, like that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The wind suddenly stopped. The only sound now was the crunching of his sneakers.
Hang on one second, guys. Something just happened here.
What?
He might be having a dad moment. He said something just happened to you.
We heard. You're making me want to start smoking again.
Shut up. You're better than that. I have no one to hang out with. You have him. I got these. Well, no, I'm cutting down on my nicotine. Because I had the pouches, and that was just all the time. These are intermittent.
Everything okay there, John?
There was a 12-year-old and 2 dogs that just came into the basement, and I had to usher them out.
Shoo them away.
So, did you do the only sound now was the crunching of his sneakers? That was where we left off?
Yes.
Yes.
He passed a large, weather-beaten house. Its window shutters peeling and hanging at crazy angles. For some reason, a rusting ship's anchor rested in the very center of the patchy lawn. I'm sorry.
What?
I feel like every time we do this, I get at least one sentence like that really takes me on a ride. Okay.
Fear Street's there, Eastern Avenue.
That's really wild.
He passed a large, weather-beaten house, its window shutters peeling and hanging at crazy angles. For some reason, even the text says that, for some reason, a rusting ship's anchor rested in the very center of the patchy lawn. An old station
even
wagon.
Earl Stine's like, I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason. An old station wagon, its rear bumper missing, 2 of its windows covered with cardboard, stood in the drive. Nice.
He's in front of a typewriter like, this just feels right.
Description. Yes. Nice night for a stroll, Corey told himself. He started humming Love Me Do to himself. Then he started singing it. I'm not making this up.
The sexiest Beatles song.
John, don't start singing that. Some people listen to this while driving, and they need to be able to operate.
Plus, I think we have to pay for the licensing if we sing
royalties.
a Beatles song on here. So,
yeah.
How great would it be if we got Paul McCartney on this show? Read Fear Street with us.
Then he started singing it. Why not? There was no one around to hear him. Fear Street was deserted. Nothing moved except the scrabbling brown leaves driven by the shifting wind. One house, was brightly lit. A porch light cast bright golden beams over the lawn, and all the downstairs and second-floor rooms seemed to be lighted. Was that Anna's house? No, the sign on the porch said 442. That's 2 numbers off from her number. So it can't be her house, he told himself. The wind picked up again, sending a chill down Corey's back. Not his spine, his back. He shoved his hands into his jean pockets to try to warm them. He had a sudden hunch and turned back to see if the car was okay. He couldn't see it. The street had curved too far. Should he go back? No, he'd come this far. The next house had to be Anna's. If she lived there... Is that not understood?
Lived.
That's his house. If he lives there. He began walking faster. The pavement beneath his sneakers was wet and slippery, and he slipped a couple times, but quickly regained his balance. A ragged, low hedge bordered the yard of the next house. Was this the Corwin house? Corey couldn't find a mailbox.
How great would it be if Paul McCartney was like, I've always loved since they've read Goosebumps, since it was This Is 65.
Like if Paul McCartney was a longtime fan.
You know, like R.L. Stine, one of my
Well, I was hoping
favorites.
you'd have me on. I heard a show, and I thought I'd come on the show and sing one of my songs. I know Bekah loves me early stuff, so I thought I'd come on and sing one of my old songs.
You talked about the Beatles.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I've been a big fan for a long time.
Fucking Christ.
Look,
You're getting my hopes up. I'm gonna fucking. Is Paul McCartney on Twitter?
Real, very, very quick joke. When my dad was first dating my mom, because they had such an age difference, my mom was hanging out with my dad and his friends, and they were talking about Paul McCartney, and she's like, "Yeah, Paul McCartney from Wings."
Jesus Christ. And they were like, "No, from the Beatles."
And to this day, she has yet to live it down.
Well, that's on her. Oh, there it was, down on the street. It had fallen off its pole. He picked up the mailbox. There was a number on its side, 444. This was it. He dropped it back to the street and wiped his wet hands on his jeans.
this.
Oh, fuck this mailbox. I didn't break it. The house was completely dark and silent. No sign of life. No car in the driveway. Corey peered over the low hedge to the front porch. A screen door hung open, banging against the side of the house when the wind blew. An overturned lawn chair was beside it. Corey stepped to the edge of the drive. What now? Go up to the house and knock on the door like a person would do? There doesn't seem to be anyone home. He looked at the overgrown shrubs, the thick covering of unraked leaves and tangles of waist-high grass and weeds. It looked as if anyone... It didn't look as if anyone had lived there for years. It's got to be the wrong house, he thought. Then he heard something moving across the gravel, a footstep. He listened. The wind picked up. He couldn't hear anything. It must have been the leaves. Hang on. My PDF blacked out. Oh, it's doing something weird. Give me a second. What the fuck?
The listener doesn't know all this is in the text.
Hang on about my PDF. It's doing this weird fucking thing. Okay, wait. Whoa. Oh. Hey guys.
Maybe.
What page
We're
are we
an
on?
animal of some sort.
Chris, what page are we on?
45.
Okay, give me a second. I'm sorry.
And you're at, or an animal of some sort.
Okay. Alright, 1 second. My iPad crapped out on me because it's old and shitty.
I was acting like we were live, and I had to pick up the dead air.
I have a few things I need to cut out of this, so it's fine. We don't need to fill the dead air, because I'm just gonna cut this out. What do you mean the web page I opened couldn't be? Fuck you. What is this shit? What?
I mean, it was a link you gave us.
No, I know. The iPad is being shitty.
Yeah, it's the iPad's fault.
Well, it is because it's super fucking old.
I liked it better when I read some rule books.
This iPad is.
Do we have the real book?
Say what?
Do we have the real book for
No.
this? I couldn't remember.
No, we don't. All right, you said page what?
45.
45.
Is that page 45 on the page or page 45 of the PDF?
On the page. Because I have it open on my web browser, so...
Okay.
45.
Towards the
It was
back.
after it must have been leaves.
Okay, hang on. It must have been these. Hang on.
Pancake, shut up.
Oh, hi, pancakes. It must have been leaves. Or an animal of some sort. He decided to walk back to the car. There was no point standing out in the cold, staring at a deserted old house. He heard another footstep, then another. Someone was behind him. Someone was following him, coming up fast. Corey picked up his pace, started to jog, hoping to leave the sounds behind, hoping it was just leaves. Just a dog. Just a lonely field cat.
What?
You know, one of those. But the footsteps came faster. Someone was chasing him. Someone was right behind him. He started to turn around when a hand grabbed his shoulder. Bum, 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 bum.
Bum.
And that is it for this episode of Below Grade Level. That is Fear Street number 1, The New Girl, chapters 1 through 5.
The New Girl.
Holy shit. Okay.
Totally a ghost.
So,
How
yeah.
great was that prologue with everything that we just read, though?
Well, the
'Cause
prologue.
it was like a twin
tells
killing
you
someone named
everything.
Well, yeah,
Anna.
the prologue is clearly what
Well,
her brother killing her, I guess. Like,
Oh, I pictured sister.
Yeah, so did I.
But wouldn't it be the young man who answered the
We
phone?
might be projecting.
Well, I guess it just seems like more of a normal storytelling trope for like a same-sex sibling
Yeah.
to be jealous,
Right.
And compared to the other one, like in
Okay.
competition.
We did just finish Sweet
Valley
so
High.
that might
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
we've got
Informing
sisterly
The
jealousy on
Wakefield
our minds.
twins are
Yeah.
definitely informing our opinions.
The Wakefield twins. I miss them already.
I don't. I
So do
spent
I.
too much time with them in my youth.
Well, that was, I had a blast. How'd you guys feel?
I liked it.
Yeah. It was I mean, I feel like I'm going to be wondering what happens next, and it might force me to either finish reading this PDF or listen to the next episode whenever it comes out.
Well, you know what? I say we break the mold. I say, fuck getting another guest. I say we just bring John Walker back for the next part and the conclusion, or the other part.
Well, we already have another guest lined up.
Like,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, but like I say we just ride this book out. If you want to start another book,
Well, here's
with
the
other
thing.
guests,
We'll
then we
see.
do
We'll see
that.
what happens. There's some stuff up in the air, so we don't know what our next episode's gonna look like. It might be a different person, and it might be John Walker, because we love you, and
Well, that and he's invested. Like,
well, also, yeah, he's invested.
But you could have
Well,
you could have
try
4
not to get
listeners
invested in any of these books, man.
next time if
he's an equity partner in this book.
Well, like I have high hopes for this, which I shouldn't, because it seems so clear that she's a ghost.
Uh-huh.
For them to have that be so obvious so early, it makes me think like, oh, maybe something else will happen.
Right.
And they're
Yeah.
gonna throw us off.
Yeah.
But also it's R.L. Stine, so she might just be a fucking ghost the whole time.
They literally
It's
have
just-
used
Where's the
the
dog?
word ghost,
Like the
ghostly
prologue,
to describe her.
the prologue feels like that should be like the last chapter of the book when we find out what really happened.
Yeah.
Why was that in the fucking prologue?
Or it should have been like a different name, like she changed her name. You know?
Yeah. Something.
And then like later
Dead
you
sibling, yeah.
and then like later you find out like, oh no, she was really dead the whole time. See, honestly, I am more than anything. I'm invested in Corey and Lisa's relationship.
I hope Lisa finds someone else.
I think Lisa can do better. She should get out of there. She should click off.
Well, first of all, she can definitely do better. What I think is
I relate to Corey so hard.
Me too.
It's only in hindsight that I realize in my teenage years that, like, wait, they what? That's what that meant? What?
My prediction is that Lisa's gonna, like, save him at the end. You know, like, he's gonna get mixed up in, like, a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like...
Get mixed up in a ghost.
He's getting... whatever that means. I don't know. His life will be in danger, I think, and I bet by the end of the book, I bet, like, him and Lisa will be together.
And maybe they solve the murder of what happened
You don't think so?
to Anna.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, am I disappointed Brendan Fear is in this book? Yes.
Well, that's a hard act to follow, man.
Yeah.
Brendan Fear, a descendant of Simon Fear.
I was about to say, could he be anything but?
I think by the end, she's going to save him, and he's going to be like, thanks, Lisa. You were right under my nose the whole time. We should go out. And she'll be like, no thanks, pal.
Oh, you think she's going to, like, turn him down?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that's what she would do. But I also
so
know
too.
that it's 1989.
This is just a funny but sad.
All
right, women didn't have agency.
Women didn't have agency, and men controlled everything.
This is a funny but sad factoid, but it's just like, yes, in hindsight, it's like, oh shit, that chick was totally into me. But I've learned nothing. And then even now, at 35 years in this world, in the moment, I just don't think anything of anything.
Even now,
like,
you're like, oh, wait,
they were
she's
awfully
into me.
friendly.
Yeah.
They were very nice.
Well, thank you, John, for being our guests again.
Anytime.
And starting this amazing new journey down Fear Street. Please, what would you like people listening to this to know about you? Plug things.
It's a weird way to
You
say
can
it.
listen to a movie podcast that I'm on called Movie Schmovie. You can find my music on SoundCloud and Bandcamp under the name Sci-Fi, S-I-G-H space F-I-G-H. And you can find me on Twitter at Gianni W. That's Giannidubya. Oh, I also have a podcast network of my own called FYIZ, and if you just look for FYIZ on your favorite podcatcher, you should be able to find it, but it's definitely on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and yeah, I sometimes update that, and sometimes people who are on this show might be on those shows. You never know.
It's true. Nice. All right. Chris.
I will always and forever plug Pop Sucker Theater.
Thank you.
Which is very hard to spell, but sound it out, search it on YouTube, you'll find it.
Look for sock puppets.
It's about
You'll feel
sock
proud of
puppets.
yourself for finding it. You know, once the
John Walker does
You
all
solved the riddle.
but
Spelling.
one song in the entire show.
That's true.
And he's very talented in it. And also, if you like me and what I do on this show, check out our other podcast on this, I guess for lack of a better term, network, The Sketchy Show. I'm on that a lot. So is John Walker. If you like John Walker, check out The Sketchy Show. He's on that quite a bit. And follow me on things that Chris Z isn't funny. That's my Twitter handle. That's my Instagram handle. It's mostly just pictures of my dog.
All right.
public service.
Bekah.
You can find me at my other podcast called CD Reads. And all the social media things.
Excellent. And you can find me on all the things at John Brack, and you can follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, where I post comics and podcasts. We do this show, Sketchy Show, like Chris was talking about, CD Reads, and our other show, Movie Club, where Bekah and I have people on and we talk about movies that we love. And we keep pitching it, but coming up soon, we're going to have a Keanu Reeves episode. God damn it. I swear to God, we're going to do that episode about Keanu Reeves. We already recorded half of it. We just need to record the other half. And there's more of that
we're going to have
coming.
a mannequin episode, too.
And coming soon, Mannequin with Chris Z. Thank you so much for listening. Tune in next time to find out what happens with Corey and Lisa, who loves him, and Anna, who is 100% a ghost, possibly a werewolf. We love you, and
Maybe
bye.
a ghost werewolf.
Babe.
Bye.
Bye, we love you.